into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
And a very good morning to you. Welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and a good morning from myself, Zoe Brown.
Hi, I'm Carl Wasty, and it's amazing to be in your company. And I picture you right now, and you're thinking, oh, Monday morning, but I have a feeling that you look amazing today, and that this week is going to be the week that you've been waiting for. I'm just feeling that energy from you. It's important.
Well, it is very important. And you know what? For this Monday morning, we are also going to be celebrating World Baking Day on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And I mean, we have a packed menu lined up for you today.
All right, so let's go through the menu for you, right? We got a beautiful entree of a hot milk orange loaf cake that you'll enjoy with your coffee later. Beautiful.
We have got a ginger coconut Brazilian delight on the menu.
Indeed. There's also a touch of malva pudding with poached pears, because it's good. Because when you are poaching, it's good to do it in pairs.
There we go. And of course, for dessert, we're going to have a chocolate ganache cake. That is all coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
S'il play. And which one are you most looking forward to? You can let us know on social media. But talking about social media, we always ask you great questions. And the thing is, when it comes to questions, we have the best people to ask them. People who have great hair colors, who have a great smile. In fact, right now, as she looks at you, Jamie Lee is going to look at you with a massive smile. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Watch that.
This is the biggest smile I can give you this morning, Mzansi. A very good morning to you. A start of a brand new day, a start of a brand new week. Yes, my name is Jamie Domberg, reporting live with you today. It is World Baking Day tomorrow, so we are hyping you up with all the recipes. It smells absolutely amazing. But this is the chance where you get to show off a little bit. We want you to share your pictures with us, share your signature dish. Maybe you can even share the recipe if you want to. I mean, sometimes people get a bit carried away and they don't want to share the recipe. But I mean, it's World Baking Day tomorrow, so we want to celebrate and share all of that wisdom with one another. And we just want to find out about your baked delights that you have with us. So share that with us, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Like I said, it's going to be a jam-packed show. Pun intended, because there's going to be lots of treats coming your way. For me, I think if I ever were to be a baker in South Africa, we've been on this journey together for about 2 years now already. You know, Mama's about convenience, anything that can be store-bought, but luckily for me, Jenny Morris is here in studio today to teach us her baking tips, make sure that we are well fed for the rest of the 3 hours. But right now, though, we have to carry on with the show and find out what's happening in those sports updates first with Carl Wasty.
Sport updates is what we do, and I think it's a great way to start your morning. And let's start you off with lucky number 7, and I'm talking about rugby sevens. Springbok Sevens head coach Neil Powell praised the attitude and performance of his squad after yet another successful weekend of Solidarity Sevens camp action in Stellenbosch. The Blitzboks competed against African opponents Kenya, Uganda and Zimbabwe at the final day of action at the Makota Stadium. Saw 2 strong wins for South Africa, beating Zimbabwe 36-0 and Kenya 31-5 in the final match. Staying with rugby, the Bulls went top of the Rainbow Cup standings after thrashing the Sharks 43-9 in their clash at Loftus Versfeld. That was on Saturday. Jake White's men scored 31 unanswered points in the second half after the score was 12-9 at the break. At the Emirates Airline Park, the Stormers narrowly beat the Lions 39-37 to record their first win in the competition. At the halfway mark of the Rainbow Cup, the Bulls topped the table on 13 points, with the Sharks on 10, Stormers on 7, and the winless Lions sit at the bottom of the log with just 3 points. Round 2 of the Women's Premier Division saw victories for defending champions Western Province, Border Women, and the Sharks Women. Viapia ran in 5 tries and earned back-to-back wins after beating the Blue Bulls Women 29-8 in Pretoria. In other results, Border Ladies beat the EP Queens. That was 17-10 in Gqeberha, and the Sharks Women recorded a narrow 7-5 win over Boerland Dames in a wet encounter in Wellington. That was on Saturday. A brace by Samir Nurkovic and goals by Eric Matojo as well as Leonardo Castros secured a 4-0 victory, and that was for Kaizer Chiefs over Simba SC at the FNB Stadium in the quarterfinal first leg of the CAF Champions League. In other results, the current PSL log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns went down 2-0 to Egyptians club Al Ahly SC in Cairo in their quarterfinal fixture. The second leg Champions League fixtures will take place this weekend. Staying with football, the incredible long-range strike from Belgian midfielder Yuri Tillemans helped Leicester City to their first ever FA Cup title at the Wembley Stadium on Saturday. Brendan Rodgers' side claimed a 1-0 win over Chelsea in front of 21,000 spectators. The two teams will meet again this week in the English Premier League as they fight for the Champions League spots. And now another football roundup for you. A brilliant 95th minute header by goalkeeper Alisson Becker, believe it or not, sealed the 2-1 victory over Liverpool over West Brom. And that was at the Hawthorns in English Premier League action. The Reds moved 1 point behind fourth place Chelsea and 3 behind Leicester City. In other results, newly crowned champions Manchester City registered a hard-fought 4-3 win over Newcastle United. And Tottenham Hotspur claimed a 2-0 victory over Wolves. Premier League action will continue tomorrow. On to some tennis action. The King of Clay, Rafael Nadal, has done it again in Rome. The world number 3 beat top seed Novak Djokovic 7-5, 1-6, 6-3 in the final of the Italian Open to win his 10th title. In the women's draw, Polish teenager Iga Swiatek thrashed a Czech 9th seed Karolina Pliskova 6-love to win the Italian Open. That's a wrap of your sport for now. To start your morning, let's check out on the weather. I'm sure the temperatures are looking good in your area, and plus the sunrise pictures are always gorgeous. Here's Zoe.
Fear sees right off. Fearless sees better car.
Thanks, Wasey, and we're going to jump straight into those good morning photos that you've been sharing with us. It's beautiful to see your sunrise images. A big thank you to Gary Orcombe from East London for sharing this glorious image of the sun rising and casting its rays through the clouds over the ocean. If you're in East London today, expect a sunny day ahead with a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. We also say another thank you to Anthea Kruger from Worcester in the Western Cape for sharing the sunrise in the distance over the mountains. Worcester today can expect a maximum of only 18 degrees Celsius. Now, if you too would like to be featured during our sunrise segment, it's very easy. All you need to do is head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photos with us from your area, because we love seeing how you start your day. And not to forget our growing international audience. So for this morning, we're going to report briefly on the weather from Richmond, in the capital city of the state of Virginia. Richmond boasts some impressive American Revolution sites and an extensive chronicle of Civil War memorabilia. Summers in the area are hot and humid, while the winters are moderately cold. Today, if you are in Richmond, you can expect a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius with heavy cloud cover and only a 25% chance of rain. Well, on that note, let's look at your temperatures in South Africa. If you're in Polokwane, a partly cloudy day with a low of 11, a high of 26. Mbombela 16, reaching a high of 24. Sunny in Pretoria 8, 24. Johannesburg 7 with a high of 21. Partly cloudy in Mahikeng, 4, 23. Klerksdorp 3, reaching a high of 21. Sunny in Kimberley, 4, 19. Bloemfontein starting off with a cool -1 and a high of 18 degrees Celsius for today. Rainy conditions in Richards Bay, 15, 22. Pietermaritzburg, rainy with a high of 17. Rain can be expected in Durban today, 16 with a high of 21. Mthatha, 4 with a high of 18. East London, 10 is your low, 20 your high. Sunny conditions in Cradock with a high of 19. Gqeberha, 9, reaching a high of 18. George, 7 with a high of 17. Cape Town, partly cloudy, reaching a high of 17. Worcester, 6, 18. Sunny conditions in Sutherland, 2 is your low, 14 your high. And Uppington, expect a low of 7 and a high of 22 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for now. We'll have another update shortly after 7.
Listen, it is cold this morning. This morning I woke up out of bed and I was like, I can't do this. How are we going to do it for the rest of winter?
I love cold.
You love cold?
Because cold means cuddle.
Yes.
Cold means a chance to have like hotter drinks. And cold means that you can now like take the coats that you have to dust off from summer and wear them again.
That's what
Right?
Zoe was telling me this morning. She said, Jamie, you can play around with winter. If you are getting cold in winter, it's because you're not layering.
Oh.
Obviously today we are keeping it a bit more simple,
Yeah.
but stylish this winter. And we are hearing the term multifunction every single where on the streets, every single way. And what it simply means is you can work from home, run your daily errands, you can meet up with your friend and hit the gym. Get this, all in one single outfit.
It's possible. I know, I've seen people do this. It's important because you have to have a different style for everything. You know, sometimes you leave your home and you only pitch up back at your house at 6 p.m. So you need to have every single thing in the car, or you need to layer yourself. And it's easy because the mornings, it's really, really cold. And then as the temperature rises during midday, then you can start taking one layer off, and then you reveal something like a knit and then you take one off and there's a blouse underneath there. So you can actually make a multifunctional day of outfits in one outfit in the morning.
And this is why you guys are my friends, because you guys are teaching me something
That's
new
right.
every single winter. Of course, today, with today's look that I'm wearing this very casual viscose blend hoodie. You can see, of course, we've matched them with some cuffed joggers. I love it. And of course, to elevate it, because that's what we want to do. We want to add a bit of chicness to it. We're going to be adding this foul leather biker jacket. It has some funky zips. You can see it has like a little belt at the back. Just very retro, right?
I really like it. And I'm a massive fan of faux leather in this particular style, because I know sometimes you have these moments where you're super cold, but at the same time, there's something about this that it remains classy. It keeps its professionalism, which is quite cool. So if you are in whatever industry, you can still rock this. And when you take it off, you still have something simple. You know, if you want to go for a lunch, you know, midday, take the jacket off, put it back on later when it gets colder again. I mean, it's really functional and it's great. So I'm loving this outfit. I think it's awesome. And as you mentioned, the retro is coming back. So no matter what, I mean, just the knit I'm wearing, think about it. I'm going for like sort of like an old school, you know, that grey jersey that we used to wear at school. Because I'm a good boy and I just love looks like this. So the outfit inspiration, it's on a whole new level and it's multifunctional. It's perfect for you. It suits your personality. And what's best is that take the jacket off and you have a whole different look, which is great.
And just like that, everybody, I've, of course, taken my outfit to a whole brand new level.
Oh, yeah.
And it really just gives multifunctional, a new word, a new branding. You can keep it cool, you can simply add things or just remove a layer, like Mr. Colway said. But, of course, you can shop these items and more at Woolworths. And this is available in-store, online, or on the Woolworths app.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso. It is S3, and I want you to open up to some sporting action. It's been a fantastic weekend, and the Blitz Box showed us why they are among the best in the world after incredible performances in the Rugby Africa Solidarity Sevens camp in Stellenbosch this weekend. The Bulls thumped the Sharks, and the Stormers recorded their first win in the Rainbow Cup finally. And the Women's Rugby Premier Division saw wins for Viapia, the Sharks, and Border Women. A video creator and rugby coach Kutle Sot Kosi has all the details. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Carl. Geez, what a jam-packed weekend of sports. Obviously great to be back. And how are you doing?
I'm so good, man. I'm very excited because I've always wanted. I think Graham usually takes this post, but I've actually shifted him off just so that I could have a chance to chat to you. I mean, you are just an avid Chelsea supporter. I'm sure it's been a weekend for you as well, but don't worry, we won't go there just yet. Let's start off with the rugby. Now, if I look at the action that happened, Solidarity Sevens camp, there's nothing more that I could say other than the fact that you know that the Sevens boys, if I look at the Solidarity camp, they're obviously trying to show the world that they haven't stopped. They're trying to show the world that no matter what may come, like Olympics or any other tournament, that Neil Powell's boys are not going to stop. They are going to continue driving in tries. If you look at the results this weekend, and this is from our opponents on the African continent, I mean, we just completely blew so many of these sides away, the SA1 side. So just in unpacking a couple of those fixtures, what does this say from a Neil Powell perspective to the rest of the world? Is he trying to show some teams something ahead of some bigger tournaments coming up?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Carl, you are an upgrade to Graham, so we'll take that.
Thank you.
I'm very happy about that.
Thank you.
But I think Neil Powell, I think the biggest thing is trying to get combinations going. I think obviously you saw a lot of guys who've been playing 15s, playing like the Rowan Nels, Zane Davids, and Van der Kolk. They all got involved with the sevens. So I think the biggest thing with Neil Powell, he wanted to get the combinations going. And obviously, like you said, telling the rest of the world that we're not done, that we're still busy. Because I think the Springboks are obviously a major, one of the favourites for Olympic gold this year. So for them, it's a 2-week camp just to touch base and see how everyone's doing. And as you can tell from the results, the Springboks are looking sharp.
So if I look at the results, I look at some of the players, we obviously are testing our depth. We've got some of the guys who will always be, it's people to rely on. But then I look at people like Angelo Davids, who just had a fantastic performance in that final match. And I mean, it just looks like a team that is trying to showcase their depth, especially ahead of, Olympics, which is such a fantastic way of us showing the world that, despite what happened last year and the lack of tournaments, that there is still value and there is still power coming from our camp. Just in terms of going forward, preparation-wise, is a camp like this enough for us to just sort of secure our feet ahead of an Olympic Games? Do you think that, if there is a possibility that some more sort of games should be scheduled, just to make sure that we are really brushed up and plying our trade against, some of the other countries in the world? If possible, of course. We know the COVID situation.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, obviously, I think more games would be scheduled. I think against tougher opponents. It's like normally going to the Olympics, they're coming straight out of a seventh circuit. So normally the seventh circuit finishes around May, around this time of the year, and then they'll go straight into the Olympics. But now it's a different time now. Obviously with COVID, it doesn't make things easier. So ideally, there'll be more games for them to play, and so we can test out our depth and see how good we actually are.
I'm confident about the Blitz box. If I look at their performances over the weekend, those results were blistering. So I think that there's lots of notes to be made. I mean, you see the visuals over here. The boys are quick, they look sharp, they look fresh, they look well drilled. But I mean, that's the Neil Powell way. I mean, he'd rather make sure these boys are gassed out completely at a practice session rather than have them like that on the field. And we are just looking like a completely different team. So well done to the boys of the weekend in that particular Solidarity camp. But I do want to move on to the Rainbow Cup. And the Rainbow Cup, it sounds so benign, it sounds so chilled and relaxed, but yet the performances are from the local teams over here. They are just, I mean, if you look at a result like the Bulls against the Sharks, in what world, 43-9, would that happen? And I actually saw a little comment on Facebook, it was just last night, where they said, well, Bulls with unlimited budget could beat anybody. I don't know what your response is on that.
Unfortunately, this weekend I had to deal with the Sharks and Sharks and Chelsea playing at the same time.
Oh, no.
Obviously, that didn't go well. I mean, listen, what hurts the most is the fact that this is a really good Sharks side. It's a growing Sharks side. We've been doing really well. But you wouldn't able to tell that how well the Blue Bulls played. Unfortunately, they do have a budget where they can just buy anyone in the world. I mean, they're very close to buying Bowden Barrett at this stage. That's how much money they have. But listen, they were sensational. I thought the Bulls are their best. They just showed they're the class team in the country. I mean, they proved that last week. I mean, they are by far the best. I mean, they're definitely the favourites to get to the North or South final. And they just, listen, 43-9 is actually a true reflection of the game. I mean, the Sharks were never in it, and the Bulls just dominated all the way through.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that. And as you mentioned, I mean, the Bulls, they could buy anybody. You're absolutely right. I know also the Stormers recorded a victory, finally. It's taken them some time, but just a quick one on that, maybe a little one-liner on the fact that the Stormers pulled it together right at the end. These guys, they have been giving me heart palpitations. I don't know what's wrong in the camp. I don't know why, these victories are not coming. Obviously, we're playing fantastic teams, but everybody is in the Rainbow camp. Just a little bit more, the Stormers, what do you think it is about them this weekend that managed to edge them out a victory?
Yeah, geez, we haven't had rain in P for a long time, and then yesterday we had rains the whole day, and it made sense because the Stormers won a game for a change, so that's why. But listen, they're a good side. I mean, like, they've been in games and throwing games away, but I thought this weekend they did very well to outlast the Lions side, a Lions side that was very, very hungry. And I thought the Stormers did well. They showed their class at the end and eventually got the victory.
Well, I mean, this is a beautiful weekend of rugby as well. In the Women's Premier Division, some fantastic results there. The EP Queens, there was a 10-17 Border Woman coming away with the victory over there. Got Boland Damas, 5-7. The Sharks Women, and then, of course, the Blue Bulls. The ladies' side not doing as well as the gents' side in this weekend's action, but Province seeming to get over the line over there with a 28 result. So 29-8 result. So that wraps up our rugby section. I'm looking forward to the other section, and not because you're a Chelsea supporter, but Coach, we have to just leave it there for the rugby. We can look forward to a part 2 of our little weekend review. And of course, there are a couple of burning questions around Chelsea's performance that I'm sure you're waiting to jump in on. So we'll jump into the football side of things in the next couple of moments, in fact, in part 2. So stick around for that as we review the weekend action. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Coming up, something very, very special for you. Here's Zoe.
Oh, thank you, Wasey. And if you need some Monday motivation, you are tuned into the right show. This is Expresso on S3. Now, how's this? On Monday at 2 minutes to midnight, South African trail runners Christian Greiling and AJ Callets broke the Guinness World Record for the greatest vertical distance on foot, and that is on Table Mountain's Platteklip Gorge. The pair climbed 19,376 meters to beat the previous record, and in doing so also raised awareness for the non-profit company Edunova. Now, the ultra runners, they are joining us in studio this morning to tell us more about this incredible achievement. Can we give them a warm Expresso welcome? AJ, Christian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is amazing. I mean, I've climbed Platteklip Gorge and it took me about 2.5 hours a year. You did it in 14 times within 20 hours. Talk me through from the start to finishing just before midnight. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I think when we thought about a challenge, you never know what physical requirements it will take. And so on paper, it all seems doable and it seems fine. And we were a bit worried about the fact that we only have 20 hours to break a 24-hour record due to curfew.
Yes.
But we both risk takers, so we said let's go and let's go and try it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually a beautiful sunrise. It was one of the best sunrises I've ever seen from Table Mountain. So to be on a mountain on a Monday morning was just so much fun. And the first 5 laps was just flowing like I thought we've got this.
Okay.
And then at lap 6, the wheels just completely come off. And it was hot, and we were nauseous and dehydrated, and yeah, and then we started thinking. Then reality kicked in.
Yeah. What was that? I was about to ask you, when did that, like, oh gosh, we now need to push through. We have a record to break, because you had an average that you had to get up and down in. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So AJ, tell me about the vision. How did you guys stay motivated to go up and down 14 times?
Yeah, so it was incredibly difficult. I mean, it's very hard to relate to you what it feels like. But like Christian said, I think on lap 6, we realized, and sort of the idea dawned on us that, we might not make it. And then your mind starts playing all sorts of tricks, and it gets hot, and then it gets monotonous. And, all these tricks start playing on your mind, and then you just kind of have to, finding Nemo, like, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So we were just doing left, right, and then, thankfully and mercifully, the laps was ticking over. And, we were kind of we approached it to sort of, we were going to put some time in the bank early on because it's nice and cool and it's beautiful, and in the heat of the day, you know you're going to slow down a bit. So we did sort of factor that in, but I think the extent of the heat and the fatigue that was setting in was a little bit more than we bargained for and banked for.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden you're thinking, you know, not physically are we going to make it, chronologically, are we going to make it before 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
And then it gets very difficult.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, congratulations again on breaking the Guinness World Record. The previous one was 13 ascents in 24 hours, and you managed to do 14 within 20 hours, which is incredible. Now, I love hiking. I'm not as great as the two of you, but what was the recovery like? Have you recovered? How are the knees?
I think we're still recovering.
You're still recovering. I go on one hike and it takes me like 2 weeks to recover.
And the other thing is you are so hungry after this exertion because I've burned about 8,500 calories, and there's no way you can take it in while you're running.
No.
So I'm still less cashing in on pizzas.
Yeah.
Eating all the carbs.
Yeah.
But of course, you also did this for a great cause. Your non-profit, the company you guys were supporting is Edunova. Tell me a little bit about them. What make it so special for the two of you?
Yeah, so a friend of ours, John Tolle, is the CEO of Edunova. So firstly, there's a personal connection, and secondly, we both feel that education is something we really want to support in this country. I think it's one of the things that we carry close to our hearts, and to raise awareness, you realize that with every step you're taking, you're gaining more and more publicity. And guys like yourselves that are giving us the airtime, we're just raising awareness of this wonderful initiative. And what they actually do is they sort of e-learn the kids, so IT learning. And in the current day and age, it's so important to educate children regarding technology. So what Edunova is doing is they're putting little tablets called Raspberry Pis in the hands of kids and educating them about the tablets and sort of e-usage and how to use it to one day, earn a living. And that is something we can identify with and something we really want to support, and I really hope we did.
No, I'm pretty sure you did. So for any of our viewers watching now, how can they potentially reach out to you or to Edunova and make sure that they can also show their support?
So we're both very active on social media. We AJ Collins and Christian Grey on Instagram, Facebook, but also Edunova is, you can follow their Facebook page. You can just look at the projects they're doing. It's so warming to see actual results of the time and effort and the money you put into a project like this.
Amazing. Now, lastly, any other records you're planning on breaking this year?
I've already started looking at some.
Okay. Well, please come back here and tell us beforehand, and we'll document it alongside you so that you guys can break more records. AJ, Christian, thank you so much for joining us this morning. But I know Christian's not going anywhere because it's been an absolute pleasure having the gents in studio. I mean, AJ Collins and Christian Greyling in the show for breaking that Guinness World Record. And it's always so inspiring to see athletes put the best and the hard work in for a good cause. But stay tuned as Christian will be putting Jamie through a hashtag Monday Motivation Fitness routine, and that's all coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Only you can make my day.
everybody. You're opening up on S3 here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a cold morning and maybe you need just this motivation to get out of bed for our Monday fitness workout. Of course, we have professional trail runner, qualified engineer and running coach Christian Greiling is standing by to show us how he has been staying on top of his trail running game over the years. And interest in running trails was sparked during his adventure racing days in 2008. And since then, Christian has been taking podiums and breaking all sort of records in the sport. And this morning, the athlete will be sharing a few fitness tips for runners, because who better than you to show us exactly this, Christian? I was listening to that now and I was like, how did you do it? Obviously, you had to be mentally fit to go through this, but you also have to be physically fit to be able to break records like you've done.
Yeah, certainly, Jamie. I think it's years and years of consistency and building up to this. People ask how did we prepare for this, and life just happened, and we're both dads of infants, so there wasn't the time that we wanted to put into this. But we're both ultra runners for Team Kway, so that helped that we've been doing this for years, and AJ and myself has been competing against one another.
Love that. So for someone who wants to start getting into maybe trail running or just want to start their fitness journey and get into maybe not as hectic as you are doing it, but wanting to start, how would you encourage them to do so?
Yeah, so interesting about trail running, it is a one-leg sport. It's not actually a two-leg sport. So a lot of the things we do is one-leg exercises, and especially in the gym, which we go to twice a week. We will do things like one-leg squats.
Okay, so we're going to start with it, so one leg.
A bit of balance. And then you go down as far as you can and go up again. So this teaches you both to utilize your glutes, which is your most important running muscle, but also teaches you about balance. You're doing great. Have you done this before?
No, but I've actually been started into hiking. I just did the Wolfberg Cracks in the Arch not too long ago.
Beautiful.
Best experience of my life. So a little bit of training, but not as intense as you, like I said. So what would be the next exercise?
So the other one is one-leg deadlifts. So more of a straight leg going down, and you can also do this with a kettlebell in your hand.
Got it.
And it's really about utilizing the glute muscle, the hamstring, and always engage your core.
Got it. And you mentioned something earlier. You said you spend about two days in the gym. How often do you actually go on a trail to train?
So our fitness, we've got a recipe that we found works. And we also coaches, me and my wife. So we help other people to get into the sport. So we spend 2 days a week in a gym, which is some mixing from heavy weights to very functional movements on feet, even your toes. Your glutes is very important for running, like I said. 2 days a week we spend time on a track, which we train with our coach, who's also a very famous coach. He coached Ilana Meyer to her Olympic record or Olympic second place. Mm-hmm. And then the other days we spend running trails. We live in Stellenbosch. It's a beautiful place in our country, and we've got plenty of trails. So our long runs would be always out in the mountains, 3 to 4 hours, spending time just enjoying nature.
For sure. The director's telling me in my ear, you are trying to take focus away from the fitness, so you need to show us more exercises because I'm trying to take you to talk more so that I don't have to do more of this. So, but what would be another exercise?
So before you go out for a run, people always ask us, do we stretch or what do we do? Now, we say you prepare, you activate your muscles. So a couple of dynamic stretches that we recommend. Mm-hmm. The first one is to step out in the calves and then just mimic this running move. So you will immediately feel the hip flexors. They are a bit tight from sitting in a car, driving here. They loosen up, the calves.
We are doing world record stretching this morning.
Doing great. And then, of course, the other leg. So do a couple of these. And then you can also do a couple of air squats. So just to warm up those glutes.
Hope you're getting down with us, Mzansi.
50 left.
Okay. They did say I was training with someone who's breaking records. I can only understand why we need to put in all this work. And is there anything else? Yes?
Couple of dynamic lunges. So you can either do a back lunge, stepping back, drop the knee to the ground.
Got it. Already feeling the stretch, already feeling nice and warm. So if you were going to be tackling on the mountains, you know that you are already prepared, your body is ready, and you're not just mentally ready for all of those hills and whatever you're going to find out there in nature. You want to switch it up on the other side?
Yep.
Not yet? Okay.
50 left. And I hope you're joining us
No, I'm sure
on this
they
Monday
are.
morning.
I'm sure everyone at home is following along, getting it, because it was cold this morning, and I was telling people I needed this just to get the blood warm.
It really works,
Making
eh?
sure, yes, now I can tackle on the rest of this Monday and slay it away. Whew. And I think last one. And ready. Christian Geylang, thank you so much for this dynamic workout, getting us ready for the mountain trails. But of course, you at home, please let us know what you thought of that workout. Right now, here is a Weekend Sports Review with Carl Wasty.
Thank you, Jamie.
Oh, that was absolutely fantastic. You know what? Jamie Lee did tell me earlier that you must layer. You can even do a workout in that incredible tracksuit of hers. And as the sweat drips overhead, that was the same thing that our coach had to deal with when it came to weekend sports with the Chelsea loss, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, Coach. I don't want to mention it right now. Can we rather start with PSL, Coach?
Yeah, I think let's start there while my heart's still healing.
Yes.
Yeah, geez, what a tough loss.
Yeah, I know, but don't worry, we're going to get there in a second. So when I look at PSL action, there's always one scorer there. I think it's one of the individuals who is quite a goal threat, and also it's a threat when you're trying to pronounce the man's name. It is Sakuma Madzivandila. I must just say, another goal for this man when it came to a win over Maritzburg United in the PSL, but TTM. The PSL it's looking like a sort of a Sundowns type of thing, but you know, Amazulu is still knocking on that door. But just to reflect on the results, TTM taking a win over Maritzburg United.
Yeah, I think it's a great win for TTM. I think, listen, they're building something really great there. Obviously, it's tough now at the moment. Everyone thinks it's Sundowns leagues to lose. Obviously, I'm just hoping that the rest of the teams put the pressure on Mazulu and Golden Arrows. They keep putting the pressure on Sundowns, and hopefully, you never know what happens in the PSL. Unfortunately, it doesn't help that Sundowns have got 5 million coaches, so they can never rest. So, but so that's the brains trust there is massive. But that's a great win for TTM this weekend.
5 million coaches. I mean, you know, truer words have never been spoken. But I think it's because you have a couple of focuses there, and we'll get to the CAF Champions League in a second. But if I just look at the team of choice, you know, also stemming the authority as well, 12th on the log. Sort of moving a little bit more up there. I know that there are some battles in that particular log. Things are looking tight at the bottom. A lot of rivalry over there. So it's one of those weekends where I saw some results that were quite surprising, but there are still a couple of results coming up. In fact, tomorrow TTM are back in action, but we'll get there in the next couple of seconds. As you mentioned, thousands of coaches at one place, Mamelodi Sundowns, and I want to just shift your attention to the CAF Champions League because I thought it was quite exciting this weekend, especially knowing that a former coach came back to haunt his former team. Before we go any further, Kaizer Chiefs 4-0 against Simba. It looks like a South African team still has a chance to get into the next stage of the CAF Champions League. 4-0 against Simba SC. Your thoughts on that particular game for Kaizer Chiefs? I mean, that's a fantastic result.
Yeah, it's a fantastic result. I mean, the only pity about Kaizer Chiefs, I think they've scored all their goals for the year in one game. So hopefully they can translate that form to the PSL. I mean, being a Chiefs fan, so likely they won this weekend. So hopefully we can translate this African form into the PSL. I mean, otherwise we're just a great team in the CAF Champions League, and I'll take that in there of the week. But listen, great performance from Kaizer Chiefs, clean sheet, which is something we've been struggling to do, and also scoring 4 goals. Unbelievable effort. So yeah, very happy with Kaizer Chiefs this weekend. Also
very happy with Eric Mantojo, of course, coming back 6th minute, returning with a goal. Always good for a player, always good for confidence, and I think it's a fantastic showing, and who knows what could happen in the next round. So let's take a look at that particular game. Now, Pitso Mosamane returning, with Al Ahly this time. He was at Sundowns for an age, it seems, and only for him to beat the Sundowns team. Now, given all their coaches that you mentioned, clearly Pitso's got Sundowns' number.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like Peter said in the week, that he's built Sundowns to where they are now. So he came back and tried to destroy what he built. So that was a tough time for Sundowns. I thought Al Ahly is a good side. I mean, Peter is one of the best coaches in the world. Yeah. Never mind Africa. So they showed their class once again. I think Sundowns should keep their head up. I mean, it's a very good Al Ahly side that they lost to, and obviously Pitso Mosamane knows Sundowns like the back of his hand, and unfortunately he used that against us. Okay, so the big question here is, if Pitso gets through this next round, of course,
Al Ahly pitted against Kaizer Chiefs. You being a Chiefs supporter, what's the result over there, realistically?
Well, I mean, if Chiefs keeps it to under 10 goals in the 2 legs, I'll be happy. Obviously, for us, we have to be realistic. We know that we're not in the standard of Al-Ahly, but we are more of an African team. So you never know with Kaizer Chiefs. That's the problem. You don't know which Kaizer Chiefs sides will rock up on the day. So if it's a side that rocked up yesterday, then we stand a good chance.
Well, CAF Champions League, exciting action over there, but I want to move over to England. I'm sorry to get to this section over here. I am also here for counselling, if you would like to wrap up with that. But Chelsea losing to Leicester City. I'm sorry. You know, it's one of those games where both teams were pressing. Both teams were obviously craving this, and it took one moment of magic from Yuri Tielemans to separate the two teams. But if you look at Thomas Tuchel and the way he came into this particular game, he's got his focuses all over the place at the moment, clearly, given a certain Champions League match coming up. But your thoughts as they went into the FA Cup final, do you think Thomas Tuchel handled this match the way, let's just say, you would have with a team of that type of depth and that type of quality?
It's such a tough one because, listen, if there's ever a goal to win a final, that Tielemans goal that was special. I mean, if that, you score a goal like that, you deserve to win a final. I thought Leicester played really well. I thought Kasper Schmeichel, the keeper, had an outstanding game on the weekend. I mean, he pulled off some wonderful saves. So I don't think Chelsea played as bad as but I just thought we had chances. And obviously, like you said, we got a massive Champions League game coming up, a final, and also we got the top four race to play for as well. It doesn't help that Liverpool got 3 points yesterday with their goalkeeper scoring a goal. So that shows where our luck is at the moment. So, but yeah, listen, tough loss. I might take you up on off on that counselling. Unfortunately, we had our fans back. We had our fans back this weekend come and watch. I think that's a problem. I think we need to going back to playing empty stadiums. I think we played very well with empty stadiums. So in the Champions League final, the fans better stay at home and just watch from the TV. So we have good luck with no fans. So we need to stick to that.
You know, I think the fans made a massive difference as well. I mean, every touch of the ball was greeted with applause and cheers, and it wasn't a guy in front of a mixer just pressing the buttons and making noise, which I think I really enjoyed that. It made the game a bit more real, and it made the game a lot more exciting to watch. So I'm sorry for your loss, but it happens to the best of us. I think maybe this will give Tuchel the type of drive that he requires to stay up in that top four, and more importantly, win a Champions League. That's my counselling for you, Coach.
That's what I need. I mean, that's the positivity I need to take today. You know, because I know obviously in the staff room it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of banter, a lot of grief. Liverpool won, Man United obviously still winning, and then obviously Arsenal managed to show. They beat us last week as well. So I'm going to need it today because it's going to be a tough time in the staff room and it's going to be a tough Monday. But thanks, Colin. I needed that counselling.
No problem. I'm here for you. Any time, my friend. And thanks a lot to you, Coach, for analysing the weekend's action. We'll need you again as we preview a couple of the other fixtures coming up this week and, of course, into the weekend. But massive thanks to Coach, always ready. And please go follow that man. He is an absolute sensation on social media. So Kutle Sonkosi is the name. So look for that. Google it. He is there for you. And if you do find him on social media, just tell him that you love him because Chelsea lost.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and baking really is a joy. Even if you're not good at it, you simply just mix a few ingredients, add some patience and a whole lot of love and maybe a prayer here and there, and you'll end up with some smiles and satisfaction. That's why we love the words that American author and podcaster Regina Brett once had to say for World Baking Day.
Now, this little bit of flour will give you power, and hopefully this bit of cookie dough will get more dough in your pocket as we give you, if baking is any labor at all, it's a labor of love. A love that gets passed down from generation to generation. I have to say it like that. It's more power. You know, when you say your quotes, you have to slow it down a bit at the end. There we go.
By Regina Brett. There we go. Nothing says home like the smell of baked goods.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And we have a recipe for you that's made with love.
Made with love by Clover.
If you haven't smelled it already, the neighbors should be waking you up with a smell, because today is World Baking Day, everybody. And we are going to be making a Clover hot milk orange loaf cake. Yes, all the old school feels is coming through, and this old school recipe will never go out of style. Jenny Morris is here to show us exactly how to make it. And it smells like a Oma's kumbase right now. It just hits the feels.
You know, it hits and it touches all the spots. I promise you, this is, as you said, to Omar Bake. This is a Granny Rosalind Bernardi Bake.
Is that your grandmother's name?
No, no, it's my adopted granny.
Okay.
I've just adopted this beautiful, wonderful granny. And you know what? When I think back to Granny's kitchen, there was, and you do adopt grannies. There was a Mrs. Niemand when I was growing up who taught me to love bread baking. And her kitchen smelled like ripe bananas and hot milk sponge.
Yummy.
Because people used to have afternoon
every single
tea.
day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of say, why do we have to wait till there's an International Baking Day? Really should be baking every single day. So what I have here, Jamie, is I'm going to get you to sift the flour into this for me just now. But what I have here is just 3 eggs and some sugar, and we beat it up till it's nice and light and fluffy. Get all these beautiful colors together, and some oil. I'm going to let you pop the oil in there and mix that, and I'm going to join you and do some lovely orange zest. Use fresh oranges, and the fresh juice is wonderful to go into that. So we're going to just zest this beautifully.
And that's, again, that smell is hitting my nose.
Just smell that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's all that beautiful, all the oils sort of go into this and really flavour this cake. So use fresh instead of an essence. And especially it's winter now, you know, oranges are abundant, they're at their peak, you know.
Popping that in there.
There we go, look at that. Oh, that's smelling. I'm keeping an eye on the...
I was hyping you up this morning. They asked, like, what is your favorite thing to bake? And I said, I'm not a baker.
Yes.
I'm the person that tastes... I was actually at a 30th over the weekend, and one of the ladies made this beautiful cake for my cousin, and she said, oh, I woke up so early to bake a cake. And I was thinking, girl, I'm not going to wake up early to bake a cake. And she said, but if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a job.
Have a job, exactly.
There needs to be a balance. So I'm going to be the taster, and you're going to be the baker.
Darling, you're going to taste indeed. Now, can you imagine the wonderful flavours of orange and vanilla that goes into this?
In the milk?
Yes, and the milk, and it's all nice and buttery. And now we're going to put the orange juice in, and then we're going to alternate. Can you... This is the reamer. Just get it in there and hurt that orange, girl.
Ooh.
Squeeze it.
Squeeze
That's my girl, yes.
Oh,
Butter's almost done. Yes, come on, hurt it, hurt it, hurt it. Yes.
Look at all that juice coming out of this orange right now.
I'm loving you. Here's another one.
I'm doing all the work today.
Of course you're doing all the work today, because you told me you prefer to have your nails done than to bake, so I'm teaching you the joy.
So now, I'm never going to tell you anything off camera anymore, because you're just throwing me under the bus. Now I'm working, and now I have to say that this is my favorite thing to bake, everybody.
Isn't it beautiful?
Simple.
It's gorgeous.
Definitely.
And we want to, we're going to just do like a little bit of alternation here. We're going to sift the flour, because you don't want any lumps in it. Okay. That's gorgeous,
is that good?
darling.
Are you happy
Yes,
with that?
that's good, that's good, that's good. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's put the baking powder into the flour.
Just like that?
Yeah. Into the flour, and then let's go.
So.
And I just want you to do that. Let's go with half. And
Mrs.
then
Niemann taught you well because now you're
Mrs.
teaching
Neiman taught
myself
me
and
well.
the rest
Oh, yes, now let's mix.
of Mzansi.
Okay, that's it. And just go mixy, mixy, mix. The thing is, you don't want to overmix, but you also don't want little dry spots, okay?
So I was going to ask you now,
So
what is
just
the
fold
benefits
it.
of doing it this way?
Well, the thing is now, it makes it easier because if you don't sift it, you're going to end up with lumps, and then you're going to like overwork the flour, and you're going to try and get rid of those lumps. And that's why they say alternate and don't fling it all in. Now, this is just like, just fold it over itself. Do you want to try that?
Yep.
Okay, bring me that sieve. I'll do that while you fold it over itself.
We're talking about multifunctional today, but this is a multitasking because you're having to sieve it,
Exactly.
you're having to
Exactly.
whip it all in.
Yes, look at that, darling. Smell that milk. Oh, clover! Isn't that gorgeous?
And I can smell that everything's obviously absorbed into that. So
Yes,
you have all
yes.
the sugars of the milk going in there. So it will just fold beautifully into our mixture
Absolutely.
already. Am I talking nonsense?
No, you're talking right. And I'm going to cut you a delicious piece of orange cake while you're busy with that. I'm watching you. I've got one eye on you. Yes, there's still more flour to go into that.
It's
Oh my goodness, just look at the lightness of this. It is absolute. Oh my goodness, Jamie, you're going to love me.
I'm working hard for that slice, so I
are
am going to
gonna
be doing my
love me.
best to make sure that I earn every part of that.
Oh, yes. No one gets away in my kitchen without earning their supper. I'll take over from here. You pop that deliciousness into your mouth, and I'll finish this off.
Of course, I know you're all wondering where do you get your hands on the recipe and a full breakdown of this. Expressoshow.com is where it's at, and I'm going to get it. It's still nice and warm. Let's see if you could see.
Beautiful. And look how light that sponge is. You know what, everybody out there, you've got to make this cake today. Promise me that today, if you bake anything, it's going to be this beautiful cake. And as long as you've got some clover milk in your refrigerator.
And while the clover milk is so hot as well, you can make yourself a beautiful cup of tea, because that's the only thing missing. Go ahead and put the kettle on right now because it is tea time. But first, try this bake. And to get your hands again on this delicious recipe, head on over to our website, which is expressoshow.com. If you missed out on any of the steps, I hope you didn't, but here is a quick reminder.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
S3 is the new home of the Safters. So, open up with S3 and celebrate Afternoon Express's Palesa Tembe by voting for her for Best Presenter. Dial *120*32020# and follow the prompts to vote for Palesa Tembe by selecting 6. Watch the awards on the 22nd of May to see if Palesa takes home that Safta. Open up with S3 and support our talent.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. You're still opening up here on S3 with your Feel Good Breakfast Show just in time because you're about to meet an amazing person. She's dynamic, she's diverse, and she's a soulful singer, songwriter, and recording artist. Shayna Ray is a force to be reckoned with on the gospel music scene. Shayna released her debut single, Go, in 2018, and it was playlisted on 42 radio stations worldwide. The girl is just getting started.
Worldwide. It's like Pitbull, the 305.
Hey.
She has worked with incredible gospel talents such as Neville D, Rochelle Liederman, as well as Heinz Winkler, just to name a few. This morning we sit down with the recording artist ahead of her Gospel Monday performances. So, Shayna, welcome. How are you feeling?
Thank you for having me. I'm feeling excited and nervous, but I'm super excited to be here this morning. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure having you. I mean, the thing is, we could tell by you do a couple of sound checks. And we're still recovering from what they would call hunafles. That's it. So that's how it goes.
Thank you.
But just to start things off, your musical journey, I think it's always nice to hear how somebody got pushed to that audition or how somebody started things off. What was it for you?
Well, I grew up in a musical family. My mom and dad used to be a gospel band back in the day. So they fell pregnant with me, still singing on stages, had me, went on tour with them. So it's all I kind of knew.
Yeah.
So growing up, you know, loving singing, always singing at home and things like that. But then life gets, you know, society gets in the way. You feel like you're not good enough, or do I have the look, or let me just step back, you know, do backing vocals and choirs and things like that. And as throughout my life, you know, God had to work with me, and so that I can break free from that kind of bondage and things that you feel about yourself. And in 2018 was the year where God just told me, you need to go to the front. And, you know, I've called you, each and every one of you have been called for something, and I've called you. You have been hiding away for much too long. And I started, and from there, the doors just opened. You know, he said, I must take the first step, and he will lead. And that's exactly what has happened today. I'm on Expresso. Yeah.
You have been called to worship.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it. This one is still getting heart palpitations.
No, I'm just, honestly, I want to just go amen. Like, I want to go amen, sister. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. It really is.
So take us through that again. Like I said, you've been called to worship. You've been called for a time like this. What is that experience like, you know, being ordained and being, you know, preordained to walk in this way now and sharing gospel music with the world?
Oh, girl, to be honest, it has been scary.
Yeah.
It's been scary, exciting, all the types of feelings you would feel when going through a roller coaster. It's been like that. Because, you know, doing something like this is not easy. You know, there's a lot of things challenges and things like that. But, you know, I've remained focused, and, you know, I know God is my foundation and my source. So the text comes, and you sometimes still feel you're not good enough. But, you know, you have to push through. You have to push through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that does things out of, you know, through fear. So while being scared, I still do it. So it's a daily struggle, you know, to say, you have to do it, come on, go, you can do it. And and then God just shows up every time.
Can we say it now together?
Amen. It was just there. I was waiting again. I waited for her again. It was. But they say, if you're scared and you go on anyway, that's called courage. And I can feel the courage with you. And now you've got all of this music. I've got a track list here. And I want you to give me just a little bit of a sort of description of each song, okay? Let's start off with Staan Op. Because now I'm feeling like I need to be upstanding
Come
now.
on.
So Staan Op. And then Yes You Will. And more recently, you released a song called Found a Love. So I would love to know just a little bit more about it. Let's start with Staan Op.
Okay, Staan Op. You know, me and my brother, his name is Lee, we love to jam.
Yes.
We're always still at my parents' house, and we just make this comical type of music where we sing in our own type of slang, Afrikaans, you know?
Yes.
And we were playing around with this, and one night they called us out to come and sing at a youth event. We're like, let's do it. And it blew up. So I'm like, no, we have to record the song. And it became like a Cape Town kind of anthem at youths and things like that, because it's sung in the way we speak. And it just encourages the youth, you know, to stand up out of their complacency. Doesn't matter your background, it does that type of stereotypical things that people say about Cape Flats people or whatever. And no, you have a purpose. So stand up and you go get your life. So yeah, that's what the song's about.
I'm loving this because when you stand up, then you have another one called Yes You Will. Yes, you will stand up. I feel like there's a connection here, isn't there? So yes, you will.
Yeah.
It's willpower, moving forward, you know, letting God take the wheel, basically, right? I feel that.
No. Well, yes, you will.
Yes.
It's an exclusive for you guys today because I'm debuting it for the first time here today.
Yes, you will,
Yes,
baby.
Yes, I
Yes,
will.
you will.
But you at home, Mzansi, you need to stand up for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we will.
Stand
Exactly.
up for that.
It works.
Yes. So this one, you know, it speaks about, you know, you're facing a hard time, like you feel like you're not going to get through it, a difficult situation, and you're asking God, will I make it through this time? And then he tells you, yes, you will. So that's basically, I went through a lot of difficult things in my life, and writing this song kind of also pushed me through it by being reminded in the Word of God and through people that he sends my way that, yes, you will make it through. So for anybody going through something, you're going to make it through.
It's happening again. Amen.
Amen.
It's happening
Amen.
again. And of course, we had a poll last week about what you need to perform for us. And thank you for being so open. We had Stand Up, we had Yes You Will, we had Such an Awesome God, and we had Found a Love. And 65% of the individuals voting said Such an Awesome God. And that is what you will be performing a little bit later, which we're excited about, which is great. But thank you very much for joining us on our couch, Shayna Ray, and we are excited to hear your voice later, as well as your incredible band, all of which have the best haircuts in the entire world. You'll see them a little later, but for now, here's some news.
Thank you. Wasty, it's 3 minutes past 7. Let's touch on your national headlines. Eskom started to implement stage 2 load shedding yesterday afternoon from 5 o'clock, and it will last until tomorrow evening at 11 p.m. The load shedding comes as a result of increased breakdowns, the power utility said. The group saw the failure of 3 generation units at Tutuka due to a loss of air compressors. A unit at Majuba was forced to shut down while another unit tripped. And other units were lost due to boiler tube leaks, steam leaks and other trips. And staying with local news, 4,288 South Africans over 60 and 7,707 healthcare staff were invited last night to obtain their COVID-19 vaccinations as the second part of the nation's vaccine rollout starts, and this morning at 87 vaccination sites. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize last night said the aim is to vaccinate 5 million residents older than 60 by the tip of June. Some 325,260 doses of Pfizer vaccine were due to arrive in the country last night, bringing the entire Pfizer dosage to almost 1 million by this morning. And moving to news abroad, rockets and airstrikes continued in Israel and Gaza yesterday as the death toll climbed to at least 188. At least 42 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip, making it the deadliest attack so far in recent fighting. 8 children and 12 women counted among the dead in yesterday's strikes on a main thoroughfare in Gaza City. The Israeli military said some 2,900 rockets had been fired into Israel from Gaza over the past week, making it one of the most intense barrages ever. And staying with news beyond our own borders, Zimbabwe's High Court has ruled that the president's extension of the Chief Justice's term of office by 5 years is illegal. A group of lawyers had challenged the move, which followed a recent constitutional amendment passed by Parliament that raised the retirement age of senior judges from 70 to 75. The judges ruled that Luke Malaba, who turned 70 on Saturday, had ceased to be Chief Justice as any constitutional amendment needed to be put to a referendum. And now some news from the world of entertainment. Acclaimed essay and music composer and academic Bongani Mdodana Breen has been appointed a fellow at Yale University's Institute of Sacred Music in the US. Yale rates among the top universities in the world. Mdoda Breen holds a PhD in music composition from Rhodes University and was a fellow at the Radcliffe Institute at Harvard University in the US. In 2019-2020, and his appointment as a fellow at Yale is for the year 2021 to 2022 academic year. The composer's works have been performed around the world, and he has written music spanning vocal, symphonic and chamber music. His opera Winnie, called after the life of the late Winnie Madikizela Mandela, was a huge success as its premiere in Pretoria. He also composed Harmonia Ubuntu, based on the speeches of the late President Nelson Mandela. Yale announced in a media release that Mdodana Breen would create a major new work, African Passion, based largely on gospel texts drawing from the many languages of Africa. Mdodana Breen said he was deeply honored and equally excited to be part of such an extraordinary community of scholars and artists. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. We'll bring you a final update at 8 o'clock.
Fearless has up to 5,500 Rand handbag cover with First for Women insurance.
Let's take a look at your sporting action from this weekend. And starting off with Rugby Sevens, Springbok Sevens head coach Neil Powell praised the attitude and performance of his squad after yet another successful weekend of the Solidarity Sevens camp in action. And that was in Stellenbosch. The Blitzboks competed against African opponents. We're talking Kenya, Uganda and Zimbabwe. The final day of action at the Makota Stadium saw two strong wins for South Africa, beating Zimbabwe 36-0 and Kenya 31-5 in the final match. Now, staying with rugby action, the Bulls went top of the Rainbow Cup standings after thrashing the Sharks 43-9 in their clash at Loftus Versfeld on Saturday. Jake White's men scored 31 unanswered points in the second half, and that was after the score was 12-9 at the break. At the Emirates Airline Park, the Stormers narrowly beat the Lions 39-37 to record their first win in the competition. At the halfway mark of the Rainbow Cup, the Bulls atop the table. That's on 13 points with the Sharks on 10, the Stormers on 7, and the winless Lions unfortunately sit at the bottom of the log with just 3 points. Round 2 of the Women's Premier Division saw victories for defending champions Western Province. Border Women and the Sharks Women of Ethiopia ran in 5 tries and earned back-to-back wins after beating the Blue Bulls Women. That was 29-8 in Pretoria. In other results, Border Ladies beat the EP Queens 17-10 in Port Elizabeth, and the Sharks Women recorded a narrow 7-5 win over Boerland Damas in a wet encounter that was in Wellington on Saturday. Embraced by Samir Nurkovic, and the goals by Eric Matojo and Leonardo Castro secured a 4-0 victory over Kaizer Chiefs over Simba SC at the FNB Stadium in the quarter-final first leg of the CAF Champions League. In other results, the current PSL log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns went down 2-0 to Egyptian club Al Ahly SC in Cairo in their quarter-final fixture. The second leg Champions League fixtures that will take place this weekend. If you are looking forward to that one, make sure you get the roundup. It'll be on Friday on Expresso. Now, the incredible long-range strike by Belgian midfielder Yuri Tillemans helped Leicester City to their first ever FA Cup title. That's at the Wembley Stadium on Saturday. Brendan Rodgers' side claimed a 1-0 win over Chelsea in front of 21,000 spectators and Kutles Nkosi. The two teams will meet again this week in the English Premier League as they fight for the Champions League spots, and that's going to be a definite fight to look out for at the end of the season. A brilliant 95th minute header. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Alisson Becker sealed the 2-1 win. Believe it or not, that was for Liverpool over West Bromwich Albion at the Hawthorns in the English Premier League. The Reds moved 1 point behind fourth place Chelsea and 3 behind Leicester City. In other results, newly crowned champions Manchester City registered a hard-fought 4-3 win over Newcastle United, and Tottenham Hotspur claimed a 2-0 victory over Wolves. Premier League action will continue tomorrow. Now, moving along to other sports, let's look at tennis. The king of clay, Rafael Nadal, has done it again in Rome. The world number 3 beat top seed Novak Djokovic 7-5, 1-6 and 6-3 in the final of the Italian Open to win his 10th title. In the women's draw, Polish teenager Iga Swiatek thrashed Czech 9th seed Karolina Pliskova 6-love, 6-love to win the Italian Open. That's a wrap of your sporting action for now. Let's take a look at the weather as well as your sunrise pictures. Here's Zozo again.
Thanks, Wasty. And we kick off your 7 a.m. update with this beautiful photo that was sent in from Yanesh Bihari, who took this photo on the sun rising in Gqeberha. Lungelo Rudolph shared this stunning photo of the sun rising over the hills of Mbombela. Now, if you too would like to be featured during our sunrise segments, all you need to do is head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your photo with us as well as your area, because we would love to see how you start your day. And we love the fact that we also have a growing international community who tune in daily via the Africa channel in the US and through YouTube. So for your 7 a.m. feature, we are heading to Alexandria, the third largest city in Egypt. Alexandria is a popular tourist destination and also an important industrial center because of its natural gas and oil pipelines from Suez. The city has a hot desert climate, which is influenced by the Mediterranean Sea, causing variable rainy winters and hot summers that at times can be very humid. And it's also been a very busy weekend for space enthusiasts as traffic orbiting the Earth gets a lot more busy and Earth's presence on Mars doubles. On Saturday, China successfully landed its spacecraft on Mars. The six-wheeled Zhurong robot targeted Utopia Planitia, a vast terrain in the planet's northern hemisphere. The vehicle used a combination of a protective capsule, a parachute, and a rocket platform to make the descent. Only the Americans have mastered landing on Mars until now. All other countries that have tried have either crashed or lost control soon after reaching the surface. Also on Saturday, a SpaceX rocket launched another 52 Starlink satellites into orbit, as well as 2 rideshare payloads. It was the 8th flight for this particular Falcon 9, which also lifted NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley to the International Space Station last year. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk plans to eventually have more than 40,000 satellites transmitting internet service to users on Earth. Well, on that note, let's bring it back home in Polokwane. Let's look at your temperatures. A partly cloudy day ahead with a low of 11, a high of 26. Mbombela 16, reaching a high of 24. If you're in Pretoria, a sunny day with a low of 8, a high of 24. Johannesburg 7, reaching a high of 21. Partly cloudy in Mahikeng 4, 23. Klerksdorp sunny with a high of 21. Kimberley 4 with a high of 19. Bloemfontein a very cool start of -1 with a high of 18 for today. Richards Bay rainy 15 with a high of 22. Pietermaritzburg 9 reaching a high of 17. Rainy conditions for Durban today reaching a high of 21. Mthatha 4 reaching a high of 18. It's sunny in East London, 10 is your low, 20 your high. Cradock 1 reaching a high of 19 for today. Gqeberha, partly cloudy with a low of 9, a high of 18. George 7 reaching a high of 17. Cape Town 8 reaching a high of 17. Worcester 6 with a high of 18. Sutherland sunny reaching a high of 14 for today. And Uppington, your low for today is 7 and your high 22 degrees Celsius. I'll have a final update for you shortly after 8. And if you have a beautiful sunrise photo that you'd love to share with us, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page.
Colway, I don't know if you know this,
yes.
Obviously you do, but I baked today with Jenny Morris.
Oh,
It's
did
World
you?
Baking Day, so I want you to try this.
Isn't World Baking Day tomorrow? Aren't we just doing
It's
celebrating today?
It's today. It's
Is
the
it today?
17th of May.
Oh, that's
I did
wonderful.
Google that, but we were hyping it up for tomorrow.
Are you suggesting that you want me to eat this?
I want you to give me like your best.
Okay. I'm ready for this. Just a little bit. So you bake this, eh?
Myself and Jenny Morris.
Oh my word. Okay, it is really good. It's moist. It's amazing. It's like watching a sunrise picture from somebody. Honestly, it really is. I feel that same type of vibe. There is another recipe coming up when it comes to baked goods. We got you covered. So I want you to stay right there. We're going to just be loafing around and enjoying this while you're gone. Okay, but come back.
Come back.
Oh.
The ultimate accessory. The latest shiny thing. Mesmerized. Trying to keep up, but never getting ahead in an endless cycle of spending. In this world of constant upgrades, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
Welcome back. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. And I know we've just gone through those beautiful sunrise photos, but this is something I love. And since it's a new week, which means we have a whole week of sunrise images to look forward to and to enjoy from our viewers. And we're heading up to the coast to East London this week as we chat with one of our regular sunrise contributors, Gary Orkamp. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Gary, good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, listen, it's so lovely to finally put a voice to the beautiful images and a face to the beautiful sunrise photos that we get to enjoy every day.
Great. Been a while.
Gary, I have to just say this, every single time that we're reading the weather report, we see your name. Your name has really become one we're very familiar with. When did you first start watching the show?
I actually watched from the very first episode, to be honest. I saw the promos of it, and then I just decided, let me watch this as something new and different. And I've kind of been hooked ever since.
Oh, well, that's quite special from the very beginning. Now, what is it about the show that makes you keep coming back? Do you perhaps have a favorite moment or a favorite segment on the show?
Your segments change all the time, but I do enjoy the cooking. Sometimes you would have motor cars and sets and especially travel, things like that.
Oh, yes, our Expresso Frenchies.
Gary, and you would wish...
Yes, I remember them.
You would wish you were in studio today because it is World Baking Day and I still have that leftover orange loaf in my mouth. So we are giving you all the inspiration, but obviously being a fan of the travel segments that you mentioned, did our interviews maybe inspire you to travel before the pandemic hit? And maybe you can tell us about some of your favorite cities and maybe sites of interest that you have visited.
They actually have. I remember that lady from Travel Star. She spoke a lot about going to Croatia, and I think, Zoe, you've been to Istanbul. I'm dying to go there, so that's definitely on bucket list. You're also going to Monte Carlo as soon as you can take the mask off.
Yeah. Oh, well, that sounds very exciting, and definitely if you can go to Istanbul, I would highly recommend it. Now, Gary, we have become very familiar with your beautiful sunrise photos that you share with us every single day, and you've been doing that over the years. What inspired you to start taking these beautiful sunrise photos?
It was actually a combination of doing the park run. As a volunteer of the park run in Kids Beach, we would actually have to do it early in the morning. We would have to arrive and start the park run at 6 so we can make sure that, the actual park run is safe and clear of debris and everything. And then halfway through, the sun would actually come up because in winter we would start, it would be pitch dark. And then I never took my phone with, but eventually when I saw the sunrise, I was like, this is like really nice. So I started taking my phone with. And then when I got my Note 10, I just thought, let me try. And then I started sending the pictures in, and you guys were posting them like 3, 4, 5 times a week. And so that was quite nice.
We love it. And I can't believe you take it with your phone. It's incredible.
I was just going to say, have you ever considered doing this professionally? Because this looks absolutely amazing. I would actually hire you to take the pictures so I can upload it onto my social media and just make sure, like, hashtag Gary did this.
Yeah, I wouldn't really do it for money, but I mean, I would do it for friends. But I think to do it professionally, then you would have to go into like the big money with the lenses and all of that.
It becomes a real sport at the end of the day. Well, Gary, you've been a great sport. It was so great chatting to you, and we hope you have a beautiful morning.
Okay, great. Same to you guys.
There we go. That's one of our regulars, Gary Orkamp, that always sends through the most incredible sunrise photos. And it really is a great way to get to know him a little bit better. And we really enjoy all the beautiful sunrise pictures that we receive from each and every one of you. And we can't wait to see more. So if you do have one you'd love to share, please head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your sunrise photos with us.
I love sunrise photos and also love cooking with this lovely man in your kitchen on Expresso. This man, I realized on the weekend that I have my 2 favorite Pedros, Dom Pedro and Clement Pedro. I just realized that, honestly, but you're number one.
Thank you.
I
Numero
just want to
uno.
let you know that, yes, numero uno. I like that. You're getting all foreign, and we're going to get foreign today because we're going to do something very special around, we've got ginger, and we've got coconut.
We're not making pina coladas. We're not making pina coladas.
Oh, we're not?
No.
Okay, I'm going to leave. No, I'm kidding. That's fine. But, I mean, no sunrise is complete without a great cup of coffee, as you know, a little sip to watch the sky and all, and just go, I love life. Now, today, we're off to a land of the Carnival, Samba, soccer, Brazil. I have to do this way. But instead of our feet, we're letting our taste buds do the dancing as we prepare that ginger coconut Brazilian delight drink with the newly limited edition Expresso Cafezinho do Brazil capsule.
Okay, wow.
So, what do you have here?
Okay, let's get cracking. So you're gonna make me
Sorry?
some coffee. No, can you do this whole thing while doing?
Yeah, I can.
What's up? Okay, cool. Of course. I need some coffee and I need two, and then nice and strong. Yes.
You need? Okay. So what are you looking for? Just an espresso.
You can give me a double. Wow. Yes. Mince. Yes. Love it. Okay. What I've got in here, coconut. Just smell this.
So I'm going to clean that out nicely. First, what?
I like it because you heat up the glass.
No, I always do it.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
one
you
of
so
those
much.
things. I have to clean out the glass first, and also just do that for the machine, so we're good to go, and then we're good to go.
Thank you so much. Okay.
No problem.
I've got quite beautiful, intense flavors going on today. Ginger essence.
Ginger essence.
Yeah.
You just smell
all
this.
sanitized, so we're all good. We're all good. Yes.
Smells good. Thank you.
Smells good. Okay.
Yeah.
This one.
Yes. Let me smell that. What is that?
Coconut extract.
Coconut extract. Yeah, smell the coconut.
Okay.
That's
Got you.
yes.
And then coconut water.
Coconut
You're
water.
making my coffees for me.
Yes.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a bit of a mocktail. Okay.
I like mocktails.
Because why not? It's early in the morning.
Yes, it is.
And it's great. A mocktail in the morning, wake you up, bring you up. It's everything you want. Okay.
Perfect.
In your
You must
jar-
remain serious with this, Because you're giving us a recipe that we need.
Yes.
I don't want you to get lost in the dancing.
No, the dancing
Because
is
even though we've
amazing.
got Brazil flair, but
It's
you
mesmerizing.
said I must do it all the way through.
All the
so
way
I'm going
through.
to.
Getting your steps in, I like
I
it.
have
Okay.
your first espresso ready.
Yes, okay.
Now, what we look here? Oh, we got these beautiful Arabica beans from certain areas of Brazil. There's an area called Minas Gerais area as well. And you're looking for, it's like almost like a sandalwood, but a walnut in there. That lovely bitterness too.
Okay.
But all of it is very, very rich and full-bodied. A lot like the culture in Brazil.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that we have something that complements this beautifully. I don't want this particular flavor to get lost.
No,
That's why.
you don't. You want it to come through. Because I'm gonna make you one, and while I'm making the one, you're gonna make me another coffee?
Of course. So where do you want to put that?
Right there.
Right there.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
fine. Yes.
So, okay, now we're gonna get our Tom Cruise on. And we're going to do a bit of a cocktail shake.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna.
You have to do dancing though, eh?
Okay.
You can't just do normal. Just shake. Did you feel that? I feel Brazil.
You got it.
I feel Brazil. Goodness. Oh.
Yes. Okay, this is it. Okay, are you ready? You making me another one? Awesome.
I'm making you another one. Put it out there. I want it to be nice and strong.
The longer you shake it, the colder it's gonna get.
No. The longer you shake it, the harder it's gonna get. Aye! Oh, sorry. I mean that.
Yes.
I forgot what you meant. Sorry. I forgot we're doing a recipe. Yes.
So
Continue.
I put the ginger extract in the bottom of the glass.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. You're doing it. Okay. There's yours.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna do mine really quickly.
Beautiful. I do have another one for you over there.
Just top up.
The aromatics in here are phenomenal, and it's coming not only from Nespresso, but this new Cafezinho do Brazil capsule, but also I can taste a little bit of that ginger. There's a bit of that flavor, bit of coconut in the air, and it's actually a delight. The reason why it's called a delight, because you're going to want to have it as often as possible. Here comes the shake again.
Wait. You want to go for it?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay.
All right, you must shake.
And a spin. Oh! But can I ask why like when you're hitting the moves, something's hurting. Something's hurting.
You have to remember Beyonce taught us certain things. She taught us that when you do dance, you must smell something bad, taste something sour, and then bite your lip. So smell something bad.
Bottom lip or both lips?
If you can both lips, then you're a very fortunate man. Just take it. Taste it. Yes, man.
Yeah.
That's the face.
I like it.
It's the face when you find a recipe on expressoshow.com. This is the best thing ever. This is what you do. It's like that. I'm going to give you some ginger garnish. I'm going to peel this ginger with a spoon because that's the way you peel ginger. Let me do a little kitchen flex for you. I'm going to do that nice and quick so we can keep the rhythm going.
I'm going to serve mine in the pineapple.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do that.
There we go.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Peeled and ready. Let me do a couple of cuts for you over here. Let's do that.
That's just for garnish, and then you can chew on it if you want, but right. Ready for this?
Yes, ready.
Let's go.
Okay, ready. Cheers first. And get the recipe at expressoshow.com. And while you drink it, refreshing, bold flavors, just like Brazil. And get the Nespresso limited edition cafezinho do Brazil capsule. It's yours. Remember the face? Do it now.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment. Because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso. What else?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. You're opening up with S3 here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, just in time to take something away. Because usually when you go to people's house, you ask them, if you want to go eat at someone's place, you ask them for Barakat. But actually, Barakat is a film depicting a slice of life in a Cape Muslim family. And it is being hailed by local and international critics for being the first film to bring this perspective to the Afrikaans dialect. Now, following a grieving family who gathers for Eid to hear their mother's surprise announcement, they end up confronting a lot more than they bargained for. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, take a look at this.
Ek wil so 'n bietjie stil staan deur te praat oor Barakat.
Mommy doesn't know what she's doing. It's love, my girl. It's not love. Says who?
He's a nice man.
Ek gee nie om nie.
Sal jy at least try om 'n man te leer ken?
Wie is Abu Talib in die Koran?
Mohammed se oom.
Wat is die 9de maand van die jaar?
Ramadan.
What is the call to pray?
Adan.
Sy is welcome hier nie. Ons het 'n pa gehad en sy sal nooit hom visie.
Pa sou baie disappointed gewees het, so wel hy kasam.
Daai vrou sit altyd ander mense se happiness voor haar eie happy en ek sorry so nie, maar ek kan nie meer daai vrou visie.
Maar daai is die ding van families. Almal voel of hulle hoort.
Kyk hoe klou ek.
Klou? Dis nie klou nie, hy is menopause goedes. Jy sweet Aisha.
Sorry? Yes. Ice menopause goodness. Yes. So, okay. It's written by the dynamic writing, as you can hear, directing and producing team of Amy Jefter as well as Ephraim Gordon, who together have many accolades under their belt with their production company called Paper Jet Films. The movie just released nationwide this past weekend, and they're joining us to share a bit more. What an honor it is to chat to two legends. Welcome, Amy and Ephraim.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Let me start off by saying congratulations. Some big names coming through. We've seen them all. But Amy, I'm going to start with you first. I mean, you've spoken a lot about having wanted to create a film that depicted life on the Cape Flats as raw, as real, as authentically as possible. Why did you choose to go from the lens of the Cape Muslim community in this film?
I think because for a long time that particular culture and subculture within Cape Town and South Africa has been so underrepresented. And if it was represented, it was through stereotypes. So we often see Muslim people depicted in ultra-violent ways, or we see a certain kind of point of view from the Cape Flats, but we really see stories about family and love and togetherness that comes from the colored community. And that's why we wanted to tell a story differently, tell the story of our people differently.
It's really a beautiful, beautiful way to deliver a story. And just to bring you in, Ephraim, you know, a family is the best way to actually carry a narrative forward. In fact, the story, I know it's comedic, but it's driven by following how different members of a family are dealing with grief. Can you share just a bit more about why this was chosen as the vehicle for this Cape Flats narrative?
Well, we started to add on from what Amy says, to shift away from particular narratives, particular narratives of us being violent or always in despair. And we wanted just to write a comedy, but we later saw it as an opportunity to connect us to a common humanity and to tell a deeper story about ourselves, where we can see ourselves in a way that, we are proud of. And I think it's only when Amy started preparing to direct that we had a conversation. She said this film is actually about grief, and we should go with that because that is the one thing that connects us to all other peoples, and that's the one thing that kind of levels the playing field and says we are just like other people.
And I think the beauty of this film is that it's very much relatable, especially when you think of the slang that is used in this. Amy, how did you guys go about ensuring that the Afrikaans, the slang, the words spoken was, again, authentic and also respected the aspects of Cape Muslim culture depicted within?
I mean, for the cultural aspects, we worked very closely with advisors on this film, with imams, with local community leaders. We wanted to make sure that we got the rituals and the tradition of being Cape Muslim right. So we consulted a lot. And then just for the idea of Afrikaans, we really wanted this film to feel as homegrown as possible. So, I think the local audience will be the first people who are experts on this language, who will be able to hear immediately if there's a false note. So we wanted to make sure that our characters and our world sounds the way we sound, whether you're from the southern suburbs, the northern suburbs, or the Cape Flats, or, if you come from community, you want to be able to recognize those particular words of the language. I think that was very important for us to get that right.
And I think you did, because if an international audience can also pick up on this Afrikaans and also relate, it's powerful. So Ephraim, the film has enjoyed a lot of success at festivals in the USA, winning awards, editing, directing, acting. Why do you think it's hitting the right note with critics?
Well, I think our little story at this corner of the globe has now proven to resonate with people from all over the world, because I think of particularly the subject matters and things we chose, it created the idea that we are just human first. But it's also proof that our stories matter, and no matter how small our stories are, the way we tell it and the dignity with which we tell it is always the thing that people from anywhere else in the world can relate to. And I think that's why they buy into it, is because everyone on this team, whether it was the actors, the crew, producers, everyone on this team, gave it their all and gave it the particular dignity that the story deserved, and I think it shows.
I would actually kill to just be behind the scenes and see the dynamic and see this all come together. But I want to put this question out to both of you. What do you think the greater audience will enjoy about the film now that it's obviously out on theatrical release just after Eid, by the way?
Yeah, I think it's about after this very tough year that we've had, a lot of us have had the experience of losing family members or knowing people close to us who have lost family members. And I think the film feels very different now in light of coming out of this pandemic. And it's just about knowing that, your loved ones are your first friends. They're the first people you know in the world. Your family is those closest to you. And I think the audience is just going to feel that togetherness through this film.
Yeah, and like Amy said, now this particular time is specific in the sense that we have gone through so many losses. We finished shooting this film in February last year. So that's before COVID even hit and before we even went into lockdown. We didn't know that this is going to be the time in which we show this film. And I think it's now more relevant than even when we shot it.
Ephraim and Jamie, thanks. And Amy, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute journey into the narrative of this film. We're looking forward to chatting to some other characters, and you can celebrate the authentic representation of South African culture in film. You can catch Barakat, which is currently screening in cinemas nationwide. Please take your Tupperware along with you for the popcorn. We'll be back later with the cast of the film to learn a bit more about what it was like shooting. And as Jamie said a little earlier, the behind the scenes, it must have been hilarious. So we'll take a little Barakat out of the movie for you and deliver it to you right here on Expresso.
Well, something that's about to be delivered to you is Shayna Ray bringing her beautiful voice for our Gospel Monday. And the song you voted for is Such an Awesome God, and that's the one by Maverick City Music. That's the one Shayna Ray is about to perform right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Today is cold.
Only you can make my day.
S3 is the new home of the Safters. So, open up with S3 and celebrate Afternoon Express's Barakat by voting for her for Best Presenter. Dial *120 *32020 hash and follow the prompts to vote for Barakat by selecting 6. Watch the awards on the 22nd of May to see if Barakat takes home that SAFTA. Open up with S3 and support our talent.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Open up and welcome back at your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and I'm so excited about this because, I mean, Jamie Lee and I, a little earlier, were chatting to the people behind Barakat, but it's good to find out a bit more from the cast. And we're going to start off with somebody who is a veteran on the stage, someone who's a screen actress who is beloved by the entire nation and by me, definitely. And of course, we have somebody who is also loved by me. He's a multi-talented actor, singer, comedian, bestie, and they're both lending their talents to the star-studded cast of the critically acclaimed Muslim Afrikaans film Barakat. So please welcome by video call Vinette Ibrahim, as well as in studio Kino Lee Hector. Welcome, Ensa.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, man.
Thanks for having me.
So, Vinette, I know that you are joining us on video call. It is so lovely to finally chat to you. All I've done is watch you all my life.
Right.
Thank you so very much for having me. And just before we say anything, I just want to tell you guys I'm so sorry, but I'm still tucked up in bed. It's baie vroeg.
Must be nice,
Must
eh?
be nice. Do not crochet so early in the morning.
Yo, okay, it's fine. So while you're snuggling, I want to ask you just one little thing. I mean, you're a beloved South African who is playing this fantastic matriarchal figure, and this is a matriarch who is stepping into her own in this film within a grieving family. So what has the journey of portraying Aisha David's been for you?
Well, it's been... What a journey, what a journey. Personally, and also in terms of the whole journey of, Aisha as well. Look, she's the matriarch of the family, as you correctly said, yeah. And she goes on this journey of, it's loneliness. It's a mother who is lonely because her children have all grown up and they have left the nest, much like myself. And she's found love eventually again. And now to broach the subject with her grown-up children. And it's like when you have grown-up children and you need to tell them something really, really personal, Kids are kids. It doesn't matter how old they are. Hulle skop teen die kar, dit maak nie saak hoe nie. Maak nie saak hoe oud hulle is nie. They are like 5-year-olds when it comes to their mother being, having to do something which they don't like. They just, they don't like it. They just don't like it. It doesn't matter whether it's good for her or not. They are like absolute... They're like tin soldiers. You have to explain everything to them, So this was the journey of Aisha. And and my boys were exactly the same. But it was a beautiful journey.
Oh, that's gorgeous to hear. And I mean, there's no better communicator than a good Barakat. I understand.
For sure.
It is like that, eh?
Kina, I'm sure you are having FOMO right now. You could have still been stuck in bed, but you're here with us on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Can you just bring me that blanket?
The memo. You clearly didn't get the memo, right? But take us through your journey. We're listening to Akula Auntie Vanette just because she raised us.
Yes.
But
Weirdly enough, she is my Auntie Vanette. She's known me since I was a kid. Our families have been friends since forever. Auntie Vanette's mother, I call her my last remaining grandparent. That's how close our families are.
So that must have been even more special, being able to work with her, knowing her from growing up, and then now creating this film, a very unique one. Tell us about that journey.
Well, Vanette gave me my first professional job. I was actually still at school. I was in a show that she directed called Rainbow and the Moon Princess. I was not the Moon Princess.
I'm disappointed to hear that.
Neither was I Rainbow, but I did wear a lycra catsuit. So that was a long time ago.
Lycra catsuit, you were the tree.
Yeah, you know, the question is not whether I will wear a lycra catsuit, but it's whether you want to see me in one. You know, that's the question. But like shooting a movie like this, it's like coming home. It's literally shot in the area that I grew up in. One of the scenes was in my grandparents' driveway.
What?
Which is crazy. So yeah, the road that we were in, about 200 meters down the road, is the house that my mother grew up in. And they asked me one day, they were like, we need a driver, do you know anyone in the area? I was like, let me think. How far do you want to go from set? And yeah, so it was quite a bit of a homecoming, a sort of a full circle moment to be speaking Afrikaans in a movie made by a sort of sector of the film industry that's relatively underrepresented. So I think for me it was amazing. It just felt like home from the first day.
And I mean, you can tell the way the characters have taken on their respective roles, there's a lot of conviction, because it feels like it's real. So, Vanette, from your side, the film was shot in Athlone, Gatesville, and surrounding Cape Flats areas. What is it like being able to depict these parts of the Cape Flats that are rarely seen in South African films, but in such a beautiful way in Barakat?
Well, for me, it was like coming home, you know, because a lot of those places were like, when we were younger, we used to jawl there, you know. It was like the Golden Dish and Gatesville and Rylands and Athlone and Lansdowne. I mean, if you grew up in Claremont, which I did, and down the road, you know, anybody who grew up in Claremont and Lansdowne, that's where we used to go. Those were where the house parties were, you know. So it was fabulous to go back there, and the memories and just it was amazing. And I think just to be part of the community again was for me amazing, and it just helped to feed into like who we were and what we were doing, you know, because I think also what Amy and Ephraim correctly did was they actually made the community almost like another character, and that fed into what it was that we were doing, you know.
Beautiful.
Kinana, I have to say this as well. I can't believe that you came here after Eid on Friday and you didn't bring me and call Barakat. Because that's all. When I saw the script today, I was like, he's going to bring us Barakat. Like, you celebrated this weekend. How did you celebrate, by the way?
My family were all together. I, unfortunately, because Eid was supposed to be on Thursday, I'd gotten Thursday off from all my respective jobs. And then it wasn't on Thursday, and then I had to work on Friday. So I missed out a lot on a lot of the Eid lunch. But I got my own Barakat afterwards, so I'm sorry. The cream would have gone off, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
It would have still been lekker in the fridge.
Sorry, guys.
Well, it's okay. You know, one thing that's not going to go fruit is the fact that this movie is going to be incredible. You can celebrate the authentic representation of South African culture in film. You can catch Barakat, which is currently screening in cinemas nationwide and in your Tupperware. There's nothing better than curling up on the couch like Vanette, clearly, and watching a movie with some warm blankets and, of course, delicious Barakat in hand. Please enjoy this movie. It's about culture and it's about local movie excellence. Do enjoy it.
Oh, well, we're about to whip up something so delicious. You want to keep the Tupperwares nice and close for some takeaways. Chef Clem is in studio, and today it's all about that warm, hearty dessert as we celebrate World Bake Day. And today it is all about the malva pudding, and he's putting his own little twist to it by adding some poached pears. I love that.
Yeah, baking's really special, especially with the season changing. A nice warm pudding is amazing. But I like when you get to I think gifting someone is quite nice, but when you make something, when you bake something for someone, it's even more special.
Very special.
So this is definitely one to bake and to share with someone. And what's nice and easy, we're using the Woolworths Malva kit, which is so simple, so easy.
It's got everything you need. You just add the wet ingredients.
Right, It's just eggs, apricot jam, milk. That's you. Everything else is already there. So we're using pears because they are in season and they are just delicious. Get so many different varieties. But we're going to poach these today.
Okay.
And I've already peeled them for you. I've done the hard work for you.
You've done the hard work?
I just need you to halve them, and you can go from the stalk to the bottom.
There we go.
And yep, that's nice and easy. You can poach them whole as well. But obviously, if you're going to be halving them, they're going to poach in a quicker time.
Okay.
Great. So while you're doing that, I'm going to get cracking on my mixture. So milk and...
Some of them are a bit bigger than the other, but hey, we do not judge.
We don't judge. It's fine. It's okay. So milk and egg goes in, and obviously apricot jam. So I'm going to break up the egg first, so I don't need to do too much mixing.
There we go.
And apricot jam, we know, is traditional when it comes to malva pudding.
I did not know apricot jam would go into a malva pudding.
Okay. Yeah, it's traditional.
It's part of it. It's part of the recipe.
It is part of the recipe.
Always been part of the recipe.
And I was just thinking now, I don't want to break tradition, but what if we added a ginger jam? I was wondering, because ginger and pears, go really well together. We're kind of thinking about that one. Okay.
That could work.
So then we've got our mix for the malva pudding, and everything's labeled for you, so you know what's what, so you don't add the wrong thing to the mixture.
There we go.
That can happen.
They make it really easy for you. So
Yeah.
this really is a simplistic, just follow the steps and you'll be okay recipe.
Yes.
And of course, the one we are making today, Chef Clem has it available. You can find it on woolworths.co.za. All the steps, everything that you'll need to make your malva pudding with poached pears at home. It's going to be delicious.
It's going to be so delicious. And it comes together so quickly, so you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen baking. Okay, so...
What did you just add there?
You see me multitasking.
Yes.
I heated up the milk because, as you know, malva's got to have that sauce that goes over it when it's done baking.
Can I stir for you?
Yes, you can, and it's actually done. It's done. So what I can ask you to do is you can just pop that into our baking dish, and we're reusing our dish from the tear and share bread. We are obsessed with those.
Of course.
So, okay, I've added some verjus to my pot, and that's going to be the liquid that we actually poach our pears in. So verjus goes in, and then some sweetness is going in, and that's going to be our sugar, brown sugar. Just a little extra depth of flavor there. Give my milk a stir. Don't want that to burn.
There we go.
Turn off for a second. So then some star anise goes in. It's all these winter flavors. And then cinnamon, of course.
Spices. Great spices. There
and
we
then
go.
your pears that you've halved for me.
There we go. Pass them along.
You can add a little bit of water to this as well.
That one's very small.
Okay, that'll be my snack. I'll keep that for just now. Okay, pears go in.
There we go.
And you can pop a lid on this just to make sure that all that moisture gets into the pear. You don't evaporate that moisture, and you end up with dry pears. You don't want that. Keep an eye on that. Then, in your milk, for that sauce that we're going to make that goes over our malva, is butter.
And that's the best. I mean, there's nothing worse than tucking into a malva pudding and it's a little bit dry.
Oh no, that's so sad.
I've had one of those before, and I'm like, no, this is really not how malva pudding should taste.
So the mixture that goes over the sauce, it actually says Malva sauce mix. Again, it's labeled for you, so it's done.
You cannot mess it up.
You can't. So butter and milk's doing its thing. This goes into that mixture, and you're just gonna stir it. So as soon as your malva pudding comes out the oven, that sauce goes over the top. Your pears are beautifully poached, and then we're gonna just plate it all up.
Okay.
It's super simple, but I kind of like the idea that, especially with load shedding coming back again, where's my light bee? With load shedding, if you're gonna bake, you don't want to get caught off guard, and then you got something in the oven, load shedding happens, and you're like, what now?
Check the schedule.
Someone told me a story about a chicken that she made, and then load shedding happened. Do you remember the story?
Was it me?
Yes. And then the chicken was left in the oven.
You know, can I tell you what happened? I got home, I was away for the weekend, and I got home and my fridge was open. So I don't know how that happened or for how long it's been open, but I have a feeling the things that are in there is no longer edible.
If we don't see Zoe tomorrow.
Food poisoning?
No. She's fine. She's going to be okay. Okay,
so here we have our done malva pudding. You've poured the sauce over.
Yes, I poured the sauce over. And what I like to do is I like to prick little holes in it.
Oh,
and then
just
pour
to get it to absorb.
To make sure it really gets in there. And you want to pour sauce over when it's still hot. Sorry, did I call you out on TV?
That's okay. I missed it.
Okay, won't do that again. Beautiful pears. And again, you don't want to cook it to the point where it just like falls apart, okay? You want to have some structure and some texture in there. Don't mess.
But it's okay, it's part of the artistic.
It is. And then that sauce that you've made, that's got so much flavor in it, so do not waste that. Get that on there as well. What you do want to do is, if you have any left, I actually just keep them. I freeze in little ice cube trays, and then when I need to make like amazing cocktails, I use that sauce.
You use that sauce? Oh, that's stunning.
It's so delicious.
And it'll be great in winter. So you're going to add a little bit over it?
A little bit over.
There we go.
I mean, obviously you can get some custard and serve the custard with this.
Oh, look at that. This looks like it's ready for a magazine shoot. It's actually too pretty to cut into. Ooh.
It's so intense.
Those fragrances coming through, the aniseed. What else do we have in there? The cinnamon.
Cinnamon. I want to say it smells like Christmas, but our Christmases don't really smell like that. But it smells like a good South African winter.
There
it is so amazing. Look how beautiful it is.
This is so beautiful. Well, if you would love to recreate your malva pudding with poached pears like Chef Clem just showed us, the recipe is available for you. You can find it on woolworths.co.za. Thank you.
Calling all South Africans to the front line. It's time to rally together to celebrate our bold pharmacy heroes who have put our safety on the top of their priority lists in 2020 and 2021. Join Adcock Ingram OTC's new season of Sponsors of Brave in showing our gratitude and thanking our pharmacy frontline heroes by nominating your local pharmacist, pharmacy assistant, or pharmacy who have gone the extra mile for all their customers. Nominate your local small pharmacy, retail pharmacy, or pharmacist who have shown what it means to be a frontline hero. By nominating your colleague, pharmacist, or yourself, you could stand a chance to win one of 8 5,000 Rand cash prizes. 2 of these featured nominees will win an exciting opportunity to pursue a passion project of their choice. 1 chosen by the votes, and 1 chosen by the Adcock Ingram OTC's Sponsors of Brave panel of judges. A passion project is the opportunity to give back to the community to the value of 25,000 Rand. Show some gratitude today with Adcock Ingram OTC's Sponsors of Brave.
everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show on S3. Yes, we're still hanging out with Shayna Ray ahead of a gospel performance coming to you shortly. But right now, it's the final hour of the show. Here is Zoe Brown with his news headlines.
Thank you, Jamie Lee. I'll start with national headlines. Trade Union Federation COSATU has confirmed that the government has come back with a revised wage offer to government employees. There are no confirmed details so far, as unions and government are still deliberating on the new proposal wage agreement. Last week, the government requested time out to consider a number of proposals that had been made by independent economists. The convener of the all COSATU affiliated public service unions in the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, Mangwena Maluleka, said they dismissed the 0% increase as a slap in the face. And Eskom started to implement stage 2 load shedding yesterday afternoon from 5 o'clock and will last until tomorrow evening at 11 p.m. The load shedding comes as a result of increased breakdowns, the power utility said. The group saw the failure of 3 generation units at Tutuka due to a loss of air compressors. A unit at Majuba was forced to shut down while another unit tripped. And other units were lost due to a boiler tube leaks, steam leaks, as well as other trips. Now moving to news abroad, cacao farmers across Côte d'Ivoire, the world's largest producer of the key ingredient for chocolate, are down in the dumps after prices for their commodity have fallen for the second year running. Not so in Mbrambo, a village in the central Côte d'Ivoire, which 11 years ago became a testing ground for organic cocoa farming and today is prospering. The local farmers collective, the Fair Cooperative Society of Bandama, sells a high-quality produce at twice the market rate for non-organic cacao. The organic label offers higher rewards than fair trade certification. And rockets and airstrikes continued in Israel and Gaza yesterday as the death toll climbed to at least 188. At least 42 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip, making it the deadliest attack so far in recent fighting. 8 children and 12 women counted among the dead in yesterday's strikes on a main thoroughfare in Gaza City. The Israeli military said some 2,900 rockets have been fired into Israel from Gaza over the past week, making it one of the most intense barrages ever. And South African international cricketer Quinton de Kock has partnered with Rockwood Conservation, a private concern aimed at housing, feeding and protecting over 300 rhinos. They are collaborating to raise awareness of rhino poaching. In a video, de Kock mentions that a rhino is poached every 10 hours in South Africa and that SA is home to 80% of the rhino population. The quirky video showcases a true depiction of what is happening with regards to poaching and rhino conservation efforts. Rockwood has 0 poaching incidents in 5 years owing to its high-tech 24/7 security measures and vital wildlife research. Rockwood even has rangers on horseback following herds daily. De Kock says in this beautiful country, one has to understand something about the plight of the rhino. He said, and I quote, "I didn't hesitate to become involved with Rockwood and do my part to help conserve those magnificent creatures." Now, you can also support Rockwood Conservation and the 300+ southern white rhinos they protect by buying a 100 Rand raffle ticket. Winners will join de Kock at Rockwood Conservation for a VIP experience, and proceeds go directly to the Rockwood's Rhino Conservation. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
Let's take a look at your sporting action for the morning, and I want to start you off with Rugby Sevens, Springbok Sevens action. The head coach, Neil Powell, praised the attitude and performance of his squad after yet another successful weekend of Solidarity Sevens camp action in Stellenbosch. The Blitzboks competed against African opponents. We're talking Kenya, Uganda and Zimbabwe, and the final day of action at the Makota Stadium saw 2 strong wins for South Africa, beating Zimbabwe 36-0 and Kenya 31-5 in the final match. Now, staying with rugby, the Bulls went top of the Rainbow Cup standings after thrashing the Sharks 43-9 in their clash at Loftus Versfeld on Saturday. Jake White's men scored 31 unanswered points in the second half after the score was 12-9 at the break. At the Emirates Airline Park, the Stormers narrowly beat the Lions 39-37 to record their first win in the competition. At the halfway mark of the Rainbow Cup, the Bulls topped the table on 13 points with the Sharks on 10, the Stormers on 7, and the winless Lions sit at the bottom of the log with 3 points. Round 2 of the Women's Premier Division saw victories for defending champions Western Province. Border Women and the Sharks Women. Aviepia ran in 5 tries and earned back-to-back wins after beating the Blue Bulls Women 29-8 in Pretoria. In other results, Border Ladies beat the EP Queens at 17-10 in Gqeberha, and the Sharks Women recorded a narrow 7-5 win over Boerland Dames in a wet encounter in Wellington. That was on Saturday. A brace by Semir Nurkovic and goals by Eric Matojo and Leonardo Castro secured a 4-0 win. That was for victory. Well, that was for Kaizer Chiefs over Simba SC at the FNB Stadium in the quarterfinal first leg of the CAF Champions League. In other results, the current PSL log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns went down 2-0 to Egyptian club Al Ahly SC in Cairo, and that was in their first quarterfinal fixture. The second leg Champions League fixtures will take place, and that'll be this weekend. The incredible long-range strike by Belgian midfielder Yuri Tielemans helped Leicester City to their first ever FA Cup title at the Wembley Stadium on Saturday. Brendan Rodgers' side claimed a 1-0 win over Chelsea in front of 21,000 spectators. The two teams will meet again this week in the English Premier League as they fight for the Champions League spots. A brilliant 95th minute header by goalkeeper Alisson Becker, believe it or not, sealed the 2-1 win, and that was over West Brom. That was for Liverpool at the Hawthorns in the English Premier League. The Reds move 1 point behind 4th place Chelsea and 3 behind Leicester City. In other results, newly crowned champions Manchester City registered a hard-fought 4-3 win over Newcastle United, and Tottenham Hotspur claimed a 2-0 victory over Wolves. Premier League action will continue tomorrow. And wrapping up with things making a racket like the king of clay, Rafael Nadal has done it again in Rome. The world number 3, he beat his opponent Novak Djokovic 7-5, 1-6, 6-3 in the final of the Italian Open to win his 10th title. And the women's draw, Polish teenager Iga Swiatek thrashed Czech 9th seed Karolina Pliskova 6-love, 6-love to win the Italian Open. That's a wrap of your sporting action for the morning. Let's take a last look at the sunrise photos as well as your weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carl Wasey, but also thank you to all of our viewers for sharing their sunrise photos with us this morning. We absolutely love seeing how you start your day. We want to say thank you to Gary Alcombe, who we spoke to early on, all the way from East London, for sharing this glorious image of the sun rising, casting its rays through the clouds over the ocean. We send another thank you to Anthea Kruger from Worcester in the Western Cape of the sun rising in the distance over the mountains. And then, of course, we kicked off your 7 a.m. update with this beautiful photo from Yanesh Bihari, who took this photo of the sun rising in Gqeberha. And then last but definitely not least, Lungelo Rudolph also shared this stunning photo of the sun rising over the hills of Umbumbela. And of course, if you too would like to be featured during our sunrise segment, all you need to do is head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo and area with us. Now, while we do enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your part of South Africa, we do have some international viewers tuning in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the USA. And this morning, we report on the weather from Pierre, the capital city of South Dakota. Now, Pierre has a relatively dry 4-season climate, and winters tend to be long, dry and cold, with hot summers experience spring and autumn are quite brief transitional seasons. If you are in Pierre today, you can expect a sunny to partly cloudy day with your maximum reaching 24 degrees Celsius. In other news as well, America's climate envoy John Kerry has been ridiculed for saying technologies that don't yet exist will play a huge role in stabilizing the climate. Kerry said the US was leading the world on climate change and rapidly phasing out coal-fired power stations. He rejected a suggestion that Americans need to change their consumption patterns by saying eat less meat. He added that 50% of the reductions that have to be made to get to near zero emissions by 2045 are going to come from technologies that don't yet exist. But his faith in unknown technologies has left some leading engineers aghast. Dr. Jen Baxter, a spokeswoman for the UK Institution of Mechanical Engineers, said to rather put faith in startup technologies, the world should focus on existing technologies. She added that there needs to be lifestyle changes too, such as convincing people to use public transport and eat less meat. On that note, here is a final look at the temperatures for today. We kick it off with Polokwane. Do expect a low of 11, peaking at 26 a day. If you're out and about in Umbumbela, expect a range of 16 to 24. Pretoria for you, there's a low of 8, reaching a maximum of 24. Johannesburg, your minimum is 7, peaking at 21. Mahikeng ranges from 4 to 23. Klerksdorp, 3, 21. And for you, Kimberley, expect a minimum of 4, peaking at 19. Bloemfontein coming through with -1, peaking at 18. Richards Bay, rain is coming your way with a low of 15 and a high of 22. Pietermaritzburg also expect a 56% chance of rain today with a minimum of 9, peaking at 17. And then South Africa's Playground also coming through with rain. Durban expect a low of 16 and a high of 21. Mthatha 418, East London 1020. Cradock coming through with a low of 1, peaking at 19. Gqeberha 918. George also ranging from a 7 to 17. The mother city Cape Town can experience a low of 8 and a high of 17. Worcester for you to 618. Sutherland 214. And last but definitely not least, Uppington with a low of 7 and a maximum of 22. That is where I leave your weather update on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Here is some music to inspire you for this feel good kind of day.
Well, listen, if you need some Monday motivation, you are tuned into the right show. Shayna Ray, she is still here with her powerful voice, and she's about to debut one of her original tracks, Yes, You Will. And Shayna, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Tears rolling down my face again. They darken behind my back again. Lord,
And here we go, your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso. We're going to open up, and I mean psychologically, because today is a very, very celebrated day. It's called Work From Home Day, something that we know all too well. An observance that encourages people to work from home as a means to save money on transport and boost company productivity and morale. And we all know, however, that the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic means that even those who prefer the workplace have had to adjust working remotely. And sometimes, you know, you have to get your head in the game.
Of course, and today we're asking, what challenges and opportunities does working from home present to you? We have clinical psychologist Asha Dulab, and she's here today to help us discuss this. And we are taking your questions and comments via our Facebook page, so do connect with us. A very good morning to you, Asha Dulab. So good to have you with us. I mean, guys, can we just take a moment?
Yes.
14 months in, a lot of people has been doing this for 14 months. Do you think that people has conquered this? Do you think that people has now gotten used to that this is the new normal? People's actually getting used to the fact that they're working from home?
I think it's natural for human beings to adjust, but I think that we adjust differently. I mean, some of us adjust very easily. Some of us have more resilience, more flexibility, more adaptability, but for others, it's quite a struggle. I think we were all just thrown into this at the last minute, like rush hour. And now we are using the time to really sort of iron out the intricacies of working from home. And what does this really mean? Because I think working from home is not going anywhere. This is the new normal. And it's now a work-home revolution that is happening.
It is indeed. And when you say revolution, everybody has to get used to it. But, you know, people like the whole work environment. When we came there, there's always somebody like Stacey's in that cubicle, and you can shout over, "Stacey, do you have lunch today?" But that can't happen at home. And a lot of the productivity we've enjoyed at our places of work now has to be emulated in the home space. So for those who have now cottoning on a little later than 14 months and have to work from home now, what are some of the tips that you'd give them to try and replicate productivity in the home?
Well, working from home has shown that there has been much more productivity, more flexibility, more motivation. But I think what people are doing is to find the balance and sort of look at the blurred lines and blurred roles between social life and work. You know, I think there's also this expectation that working from home, one can be available 24/7. So I think that one needs to speak about the boundaries around that and almost having the right to disconnect when you need to. And obviously, you know, balancing the resting time versus the working time. Very important to stay active, go outside, take some fresh air in, create a very comfortable working space, a working environment. I mean, simple things like having the correct chair, the correct lighting, the correct computer, fresh air coming in is all very important. And of course, we need to move, because I think sitting in our chairs every day, working with a computer, we can become quite sedentary. And I think just getting up and stretching is very important. So the rest element has to come into play, and that needs to be taken quite seriously.
It does.
I'm not even joking. Actually, over the weekend, we were speaking about it, and we were speaking about, like, what are you doing this Monday? And they're like, no, they actually work from home. And then I made the joke. I said, I work from home too, which is not the case. Obviously, we'd never be able to work from home. But I think there's definitely benefits. And I think as a parent as well, you know, having that time, having a bit more free time to be with the kids. But when we think of more benefits, added benefits to working from home, what do you think those are?
You know, I think that we working from home means less commuting, number one. And that gives us sometimes up to 45 minutes to an hour where we could maybe use for exercise or prepping a meal or connecting with our family, or just that self-care for yourself, you know, doing some meditation, doing some yoga, whatever it is for you. I think that is a very big advantage right now. And people are really are feeling much more motivated because they're allowed to have a sense of autonomy and a sense of freedom in how they manage their time. I think we have a whole new way of how we are articulating our time, looking at time management. So it can be quite de-stressing as well once you find that balance. I know that some people also say, you know, going to work and commuting can sometimes be a me time. But create that me time at home, which is very important. Create a little sanctuary at home where that little space also can be your time where you can just de-stress. So there's lots of pros and cons, and, you know, basically working from home is not for everybody. and it's about maybe creating a hybrid means of working these days. We have a bit of balance where some days you're working at home and some days you're going to an office. But I think the office is going to change, the office setting. I think it's more about a collaborative space where there's more creativity happening, more inspirational ideas flowing, rather than going to work to actually do work. I think that the idea of workspace will be changing.
I just hope that we get to a point in South Africa where our bandwidth is better and more affordable for our people. Load shedding could also stop, because that will make work from home a lot easier. But thank you for the tips. I think it's quite important for all of us to know exactly what we need to do structurally to ensure that we are effective at home. So the thing is, the challenges that you may have, there are some opportunities, and does working from home present these type of challenges and opportunities to you? So Ash Abdullah is here today to help us discuss this topic, and we're taking your questions and comments via our Facebook page. So do connect with us on this very, very pertinent topic, especially given the new normal, which is working from home.
Well, if you are working from home and looking for a break, you are just in time, because Oma came to visit. Okay, well, listen, we're going to invite Jamie and Carl in to come and join me, because we're about to take a break, especially if you are working from home. And the nice thing is, a little laugh is every now and then necessary. So Jamie, Carl, come and join me, because it's time for us to play a game.
We are.
Yes. Are you ready to host?
I am.
Okay.
Did you make us?
I made you coffees. I've got some Oma rusks here for you.
She made me coffee.
But there's going to be a little bit of a competition element to it.
Okay,
you have to earn your rest.
All right.
You have to earn.
I'm ready.
I cannot be happy, everybody. You know why? Because our coffee, as you can see, is already here, and the Oma 5-second rusk game is back. And this time, you two are going head to head, okay? So it's very...
Oh, no.
The rules are simple. It's easy. I'm going to ask you each a set of questions, and you will have 5 seconds to answer. The person who gets the most questions correct within the time at the end of the game will win the peanut butter Oma Rusk.
Do you know, I can smell the peanut butter right now. It smells so amazing. Delicious.
So today, Carl, Zoe,
ready
you're going...
Okay, who's going first?
Your theme is nice and easy, okay? It is family. Here we go.
I go first.
You go first, okay.
I go first.
So, I'll start with you, Zoe.
All right.
Name 3 types of family members.
Oma, Opa, Mom.
No, don't even think the timer went in.
Okay.
No,
That is perfect. That is perfect.
Oh,
You
that's
are
split
like
second.
Opa, Pa, Ma, whoever.
Douglas.
Cool.
Many of them.
Perfect.
Got it. Carl, name 3 nicknames you could give a Oma.
Oh, Mama, Leafy, Omachi.
Omachi?
Would you call your Oma
Omachi?
Yes, because Omachi, there's a connection there.
Because
as
they
well.
get smaller.
Yes, because they get smaller as they get. How did you know? And also, if it's my Oma, my late Oma was shorter than I am, so you can imagine. That's my. I miss her so much. But okay. Yes, Omaki. Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Zoe.
That's it.
Name 3 things families do together.
Eat, walk, laugh.
Eat, walk, and laugh.
Yes. You know, and the families that walk together talk together. Yeah.
It's good you didn't say eat, pray, and love, because
Love that movie. Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Carl,
yes.
Name 3 places to hide your rusks.
Ooh.
Oh. In the bathroom cupboard, under your mattress, and under your pillow.
Under your mattress.
That's correct. That's how, look here, these rusks are incredible. People will find them. I can smell them right now. If you have people in your house that got good sense of smell, you can't hide them in the cupboard. That's why you do the bathroom cupboard, because they smell the toothpaste first, and then the
same place where your toilet is.
I have a lot of questions.
I have a separate bathroom.
I have a lot of questions, but Zoe, we're going to go back to you. Name your... Ooh, Zoe, I hope your mom isn't watching for this one.
Oh, yes, I really hope she is.
Name your 3 favorite family members.
Kai, my sister, my brother.
Hi, Adama.
No, because I can't choose between mom and dad, but I can choose between my siblings and my nephew.
My favorites are mom and dad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kai?
I cover that.
Yeah, okay. So
He's Kai's...
yes.
You better win this,
like
that you can send this to your mommy. You better win this, you can send this to mommy and daddy. Okay.
Okay, good.
Carl,
yes, hello.
Name 3 ways to show your partner you love them.
Hug, a kiss, and to purchase something that helps them.
Purchase something?
That helps.
That helps them.
That helps them in a certain way. If they like hiking, then why not hiking boots? To show them that you focus on their loves. And
you don't have to explain. I was just asking.
I'm just trying to say, because the way you looked at me, you're like, why would you buy something that helps somebody?
I was trying to understand.
Yes.
Zoe, back to you.
Okay.
Name 3 cute nicknames for your partner.
Leafy, Lovey,
Davi.
Okay, may I interject? Sorry.
Please do.
Who calls their partner Davi, man? I want to know.
Hey, Davi.
I also want to know.
If his name's Davi.
No, who comes home and says, Davi, I'm home, Davi? Like, who does that? I'm just asking for a friend.
You asking the same questions I don't know why you're looking at me like I'm going to answer this. I'm heating up.
I'm going to call her Davi all day today. I'm sitting here now.
Can that be Zoe's new staff name?
It's now Davi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Zoe Brown, also known as Davi.
Davi.
Okay, go.
Yes.
Name 3 not so cute nicknames for your partner.
Oh.
Not cute.
Hola. Teta. Cheeks.
I'm just going to leave it there. You can't
name someone that.
That's why I won, right? Did I win?
No, let's actually just find out who won this.
I think this is terrible.
Can I flush what I just said on national TV down?
That coffee. But we do have a winner this morning.
Who is it?
Our first winner for the game that has just come back is Zoe Brown, everybody. Also known as Davi. You get that yum peanut butter rusk for your mommy. Of course, we can't keep all the rusk for ourselves, so we are giving you a chance to win too. Now, this week, you stand a chance to win an Oma Rusk hamper plus 1,000 Rand in cash. Now, to enter, tag a person who lives far away from you that you'd love to dip a Oma with and tell us why. Now use that hashtag dipping time in your answer when you enter on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter competition post. You can do that right now. And to top it off, every time you enter, you also enter the grand prize draw to win the ultimate Smeg hamper with 12,000 Rand. The competition closes at midday on Wednesday, so get on it as soon as possible. All the terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com. Thank you so much, Davi. Thank you so much, Holla.
Davi.
Davi.
That's it. Davi.
Anytime is dipping time when it's with the ones you love.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh yes, you're live with your Feel Good Breakfast show. It's Monday, so we're talking all things relationships. And today we're asking, what challenges and opportunities does working from home present to you? We are back with clinical psychologist Asha Dullab to unpack this topic. So do weigh in with your questions and comments on our Facebook page. We spoke about the perks. We spoke about the good things of working at home. You have extra time in the day to use for self-care. Let's talk about the challenges, the not so fun part of working at home.
I think, Carl, you've started off with the broadband and the Wi-Fi. I think that is one of the greatest challenges. I mean, that's such a frustration. But apart from that, people can experience fatigue. For that initial adjustment, I think people were struggling with exhaustion. But also just that kind of being available 24/7 and needing to just have clear boundaries with working from home. Of course, dual roles. I mean, sometimes working from home, then you also have to be mom and, be your partner and you're working. So that can actually become quite blurred. So again, we need very, very clear boundaries with that. Of course, I mean, there can be unhealthy habits that can prevail. With us snacking more than usual, having more Oma rusks than usual, lack of movement can cause us to have physical and mental challenges. our daily lifestyles. I mean, that's quite important that we need to really just look at. And of course, our environments. I mean, not all of us have access to space and privacy where we can work from home. And also just the mere, you know, our desks, our chairs, the necessary equipment that makes it comfortable for us to work from home. Not all of our circumstances are the same, so I think that those are things that need to be addressed.
Indeed they do. And I know that there's also the social aspect of the working environment, because usually people work in teams. There's a collaboration that's necessary. And with the challenges, as you mentioned, there are some bandwidth challenges, so you can't exactly communicate as fluently as you would if somebody was in the cubicle next to yours. Furthermore, there's also the schedule of a working day that's often blurred, because sometimes when people want to get ahead, they will start at 6 a.m. and finish at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. at night. So with all this in mind, what are some of the things that we could do perhaps to alleviate the communication problems and also the daily schedule problems that working from home brings?
Well, definitely, I think with having like regular check-ins, you know, sometimes a check-in can not only just be on the computer, but even just a phone call.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, talk to a colleague if you don't have connection, but also just to arrange time to meet in person at some point. I mean, I think that sitting across a computer the whole day can be quite exhausting, and it limits that social connection.
Yes.
And I think for younger people, they will struggle more, because younger people love the collaboration, and it's also a space, work provides a space to meet new people and to, you know, form new friendships. So that becomes quite challenging. So it will be important to try and make connections as part of a team as well. Do your morning check-ins, do some fun activities as team building, perhaps online, you know, even if it's, you know, share something that's great that happened in your day, or share a celebration in your family, just to maintain that connection that's outside of work. But really what the key thing is to have that communication and to speak openly with regard to what one's requirements are, looking at one's expectations, looking at one's productivity level, level of motivation. All of those things need to be communicated clearly in order to really get this work from home revolution going.
So true.
I love that you mentioned communication, because I think that is very important. But we are going to continue this conversation, and we're asking you, what challenges and opportunities does working from home present to you? Asha Dulab is here today to help us discuss this topic, and so we are going to be taking your questions and comments via our Facebook page. So do connect with us, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3.
Oh, well, listen, we are in the kitchen. Kino Lee's not going anywhere, as well as Jenny Morris, because today we are celebrating World Baking Day, and Jenny has promised to show us one of her favorite chocolate recipes. She's here to show us how to make a chocolate ganache cake. Kino Lee, how are you with baking in the kitchen?
I can cook. I'm like I said earlier on, I've made a cheesecake like once, but Jenny just told me that I'm one of her favorite chocolate recipes.
Woohoo!
And my favorite singer.
Oh,
so he's going to sing for his sticky cook fun.
Okay, well, we are here for all of that. Chef Jenny, take us through the various steps. How can we get involved?
All right, so I've already got some eggs and some sugar happening here. Zoe, you're going to mix all the dry ingredients together.
Okay.
And you, my darling, are going to take the coffee in some hot water, and you're going to get it to dissolve with the cocoa. All right, you've got a spoon next to you. And then we're going to, it's so easy, just pass that back here, Zoe.
I think, was I just supposed to add a pinch of salt?
No, this was all beautifully measured out for us by Nicole, so you can be sure there's nothing missing.
Is it true that you should add a little bit of salt when you're working with
everything?
With
everything.
But I mean with baking, with chocolate specifically.
Yes, baby. Oh, yes, and with caramel.
Oh, yes, because that will balance it out really nicely.
Totally.
That salted caramel.
Totally.
That sounds
so
good.
Now you want to get rid of all of those lumps, and then we're going to add some clover milk to that.
There we go.
We've got a whole cup full of that happening, and some oil, because the oil's going to keep it beautifully moist.
I could just drink this.
Oh, are you a big chocolate fan?
Chocolate and coffee, and I am sorted. Thanks so much.
I heard this funny thing that apparently a lot of Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, no, brown cow?
Yes. Now, into here, but first put your oil, so we get the oil all mixed. What I love is like all the wet stuff.
Put it all together.
Yes. Go mixy mix.
That is an interesting sight. I have not seen that before in my life.
Do you still want to drink it?
No, not now.
But don't worry, once it's in the mixture, it is all part of the recipe.
Some good fats, you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing I've noticed, Kino, about baking is you kind of have to trust the recipe and you have to trust the process.
Absolutely. So now I'm going to trust this child to put this in
good
here,
luck.
half. Little by little.
Okay, here we go.
Let's go.
There we go.
Let's go.
Ooh, that looks good.
There we go. And go mixy mix.
Let me clean this up
Mixy
for
mix.
you.
This is a little bowl. Okay.
There we
So
go.
should I pour and you mix? Well, the gist of it is the following, is we actually have a big bowl here. I'm so affected by you that I am I'm going from small to big.
There we go.
Okay. So here we go. I was wondering why we had such a small bowl. I forgot that I'd done the first step. Okay, darling, mix, mix, mix.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so now this is where the elbow grease
going.
comes in.
Yes.
So we do have this recipe available for you if you're interested in Jenny Morris's chocolate cake ganache. It is available on our website. You can find it at expressoshow.com. The list of ingredients, the steps to the recipe is all there, and it really is easy peasy to make as she's showing myself.
Some more wet. Now, you know what? This is quite frightening because it's quite a wet recipe.
Okay.
So you'll look at it and think, oh, my goodness gracious me, you know, is this going to bake?
Can I
Please
take the
don't be
spoon,
afraid.
please?
There we go.
Fine.
Go mixy, mixy, mix. And this is the last thing that goes in is the vinegar.
Okay.
So I've really
a little
baked
bit of vinegar.
A little bit of vinegar, yes. Even
quite
when you make your red
interesting.
velvet, you put a bit of vinegar, that nice bit of acidity. It's like when you make your malva. You have that little bit of vinegar. Now look at this. This is the cake. How gorgeous is this?
That is a beautiful cake.
Beautiful.
So, of course, we'll put this batter into the oven for how long?
About 22 minutes, but just check it because you divide it.
Okay.
Up. We have ganache here.
Oh, yes.
And we have lots and lots of wonderful chalky things. So this has got some lovely clover cream.
Here we go.
I'm going to put a bit in the middle. You know what I really like to do is sometimes I like to cheat and I buy mousse. Chocolate mousse that's ready made.
Great idea.
It's a very good idea, trust me. And so you have like this whack of ganache and this beautiful chocolate mousse. I did that on Saturday, actually. I had my kids for lunch.
Oh, yum.
And so I made this cake. The coffee just gives it that extra little bit of a kick.
There we
and
go.
then we're going to just pop the top on and then just put lots and lots and lots. Look how easy it is. Just look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
It's a beautiful
and
cake.
then let's get this to just run all the way over the top.
Go for it, Jenny.
Yes. And I know your hands are sanitized, as we do, because we're very responsible and we're very good. So I think we should just like cover this whole top with some beautiful shards of chocolate and some lovely chocolate flake.
Have you ever had chocolate cake for breakfast?
Not getting it today.
You never know. I mean, are you a sweet tooth?
I just want these. There are times that smell-o-vision would really, really help you at home because this is, what a great smell.
Just the way you make
I'll
it
give
look.
you this. You're not getting cake.
There we go. It's too beautiful to eat.
And some shards, you could like poke some shards in, and I've got these beautiful like rose petals.
Oh yes, add some colour to it.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Really beautiful.
So, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can make it, you can put some berries on top, you can just dust on top of that some beautiful...
2 seconds ago, this cake was naked, and now it looks magazine.
I know, doll.
What?
I'm telling you.
Amazing. Well, Chef Jenny, thank you so much for showing us how to make this delicious chocolate cake ganache. Kino Lee, thank you for joining us in the studio, and of course, adding your bit, you know, elbow grease is very important.
I can stir. I can stir.
Well, if you would love to get your hands on this recipe, it is available for you. You can do so at expressoshow.com. So when can we tuck in?
Later, darling, with a nice hot cup of tea.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3. And in case you missed it, we had 2 parts so far on a very pertinent topic, which is around working from home. And we've discussed the benefits, some of the cons as well, the negative sides, but there's also some relationship things that we need to tackle. And we have the perfect person to usher us through. Asha Dulab, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us the pearls of wisdom that we need. Because when it comes to working from home, it is going to be a fixture in our lives. And in fact, in your practice and what you've seen around you, do you think it's going to become a permanent fixture in South Africa's occupational industry?
I definitely do think it is. And I think that also looking ahead, I think that we will be looking at legislation that looks at remote working and laws around it. I think that it's the new normal.
Yeah.
So we need to embrace it.
And you would think that after 14 months, like I said, some people got wrapped their head around it. If people are still struggling to find the groove, find a routine, create barriers for themselves and just create a space where they are able to work remotely from home, what tips do you have for them?
I think that's what's important is to create an environment that feels comfortable for you and to really do a quality check-in. Am I comfortable? What is my environment like? Because your workspace has now become what used to be your resting space is now your workspace, and to really kind of create a space in your home where this is my workspace that I need to cut off from and then join my family and do whatever else that used to be my rest space. I think so. The key word here is the rest and comfort. Create an environment of comfort, because that is self-care and that will entail your mental and overall well-being, which is very much needed when we're working from home to have those balances in the relationships. But with that said, I think that working from home, if we just manage our time well, we can have beautiful connections with our families, have more time to cook healthy meals, have time to exercise. So it's really about getting the balance right. And with time, as we grow and learn together, we will get this right.
I think boundaries are also very, very important. And I believe that, and just correct me if I'm wrong, it's okay for us to say to HR, in the event that we have, let's just say, somebody, a business unit manager, who is calling us outside of our business times, that we can raise that in the workspace with a good amount of diplomacy. You don't want to rock the boat, but you want to tell somebody, don't call me at 9 o'clock for a project, I'm with my family. So do you think that is okay for us to have a critical relationship and conversation with our HR departments and say, this is what's happening?
It is a must. It's not just okay, it's very, very important. And like I say, these things are probably going to be in employment contracts going forward, because this is the new way that we will be working. And that right to disconnect is very important, to switch off and say, this is my time, whatever you are doing with it. That is important.
Shadila, always so good to have you with us. Of course, for you at home, make sure that you're getting the most and making the most of working at home, spending time with your family, but also finding a beautiful space that you're working in, and also creating boundaries for yourself and for those around you when you are working at home.
And you know what? While we all work from home, we find that we depend on WhatsApp as a form of communication now more than ever. Now, the 15th of May, it has come and gone as WhatsApp's new privacy policy, originally scheduled for February, comes into effect. Now, what are the ramifications if people still don't accept the new terms? Well, Nicoline Skuman-Low, the managing director at Skuman Law Inc., joins us now via Zoom to answer all of these questions. Good morning, Nicoline.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
You know what, this is such an important conversation, because it felt like just the other day where people were like, I'm going to leave WhatsApp, move somewhere else. But just as a reminder, what was the major concern surrounding WhatsApp's new update policy that was originally scheduled for the month of Feb?
Well, I think succinctly, the main issue that we were facing was the fact that we suddenly became aware of information that was being collected from us and that would have been shared with sister companies within the Facebook group. And these, let's be clear, it didn't include the actual message content, but things around you and who you are and your contact details, your device, etc. And that was the main issue of concern.
And I think it scared a lot of people. Now, what happens in the event if a WhatsApp user doesn't have Facebook? What use or concern is the new policy to someone like that?
Well, I think have a look at some of the material that we've seen being produced on commentary around this topic, and from magazines, even overseas, such as Forbes, for example, have written quite interesting pieces around the theory of data collection and sharing. So I think the first thing that listeners and that the audience should be aware of is the fact that it's not just about the fact that a sister company will use or have access to your data for marketing or improvement purposes. It is the very fact that it's being collected and we don't really know what for. That's the key component. We are being told that it's for efficiency enhancement and technical development and support, but what does your device or your telephone number have to do with that?
Okay, and I can understand why that is so concerning. Now, I was unfortunately one of those people that just accepted the T's and C's without really looking what I was accepting. But what happens now if a WhatsApp user still rejects the new policy that was in effect from the 15th of May?
Well, it's important to note that Facebook and the group company that owns WhatsApp has been very elusive about the process that will follow from Saturday onwards if you have not accepted the policy. We are being told that you'll lose functionality over time. What that exactly means and when exactly it will stop working, essentially, I suppose we'll have to look and see. So really, we are at the same crossroads we were in January, and it's critical for you to have a look at if you are open to accepting this. Bearing in mind our information regulator, who is the agency appointed by government to lobby for responsible use and, of course, to also act as the watchdog, has issued a directive to Facebook as a group saying that you cannot collect from South African users if you don't have my consent, specifically in regards to the contact details of a user. So it's still a debate ongoing in South Africa.
And definitely something to keep our eyes out on. Now, is the concern around the new policy still very much alive like it was in the beginning of the year, or have people now softened towards it?
Well, there are quite a few people that seem to think that the collector of the information, being WhatsApp and the Facebook group of companies, were hoping that we would soften up and just click on accept.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen that. The statistics don't say that. I think especially now with Poppy becoming effective, the promotion of or the Protection of Personal Information Act in South Africa, the GDPR and a similar equivalent around the world, we have become much more vigilant. We've become much more educated and more focused. So from a South African perspective, I am not convinced that we've softened up to this debate.
Well, that at least is very good to hear. And at least as South Africans, we're looking out for ourselves. We're doing the necessary research before just accepting any T's and C's that WhatsApp is offering. Nicoline, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Best of luck on these choices, everyone.
And they are big choices. Thank you so much, Nicoline, for that insight. And hopefully that will help you at home to make an informed decision as to whether you want to continue using platforms like WhatsApp or to migrate to something else.
S3 is the new home of the Safters. So open up with S3 and celebrate Afternoon Express's Barakat by voting for her for Best Presenter. Dial *120*32020# and follow the prompts to vote for Barakat by selecting 6. Watch the awards on the 22nd of May to see if Barakat takes home that SAFTA. Open up with S3 and support our talent.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on S3. I hope that you are awake. I hope that you are standing up because recording artist Shana Ray released the Afrikaans song Staan Op in 2019. She wrote the song with the purpose of uplifting people from the Cape Flats to rise up from their circumstances and stereotypes. Staan Op speaks about giving your heart to Jesus and to complete the assignment that the Lord has given each and every one of us. For the last few minutes, here is Shana Ray. Take it away.
This is a song for all my Here we go. My broeders staan op uw kinderhoek. Weet jy, jou kinders sal roep. Nou staan jou mam en haar nare, van jy het vir haar beloof. Jy's klaar met jou dange, my broer. So trek op je sokjes en los die chommies. Oh my broediere, hy roep vir jou. Hy roep vir jou. Trek op je sokjes en hou op je skoffies. Oh my broediere, hy roep vir jou. Hy roep vir jou. My sister jy loop in die pad met jou pyjamas. Weet jy nie, jy's 'n dame. Sokkies, hoop op het skoffies, oh my sister, Here, hy roep vir jou, hy roep vir jou. Staan op, staan op, staan op, staan op, my sister, my broeder, staan op, staan op. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Standing up! Ons staan op, ek sê.
Shana Ray, take a bow. That was amazing.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Her voice, just setting the tone.
I can't even sit down.
You don't want to sit down.
No,
don't want to sit down.
I can't.
Wasn't bly staan.
I can't. I would like to, but it's fine. That's Shana Ray. Absolutely incredible performances. You heard some of the music. Please go and stream and download because she is one of our vocals from the locals. And I think something like Staan Op was perfect for the weekend. You know, you can imagine as the Friday starts, Staan Op. It feels lekker. I think it'll be great. So let's do that.
And don't forget, today is also World Baking Day. So if you are making any delicious treats, please share that with us on Expresso Morning Show SABC3. And also visit our website to find out all the amazing recipes we made today.
We made so many delicious ones. I feel like we need to go tuck into that delicious chocolate ganache cake that Jenny Morris made. And then, of course, tomorrow, Tabiso is going to be crossing to us live from Gqeberha. So we're looking forward to seeing him on our screens again.
That's right. So look here, we're going to be here tomorrow morning, so you can stand up with Expresso and S3. Stay safe. Ciao.
Bye.
Here's to family favorites and recipes passed from mothers to daughters, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.